Appreciate everyone tuning in. Back at it here, match number 9 and match number 10. Featuring the number 3 seed, Stefanie Johnson. She is taking on Diana Zavjalova. And the Rookie of the Year 2018, Jordan Richard, facing Maria Jose Rodriguez. Emil Williams Jr. And, at least for a little bit, we'll be joined by the number 1 seed and the 2018 PWBA Player of the Year, Shannon O'Keefe.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
All right. All right. I'm excited. Been excited all day. We've had some great matches.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And certainly expect that trend to continue here. I see you have got your journal out.
I do.
Already. So
yes, I've been making a lot of notes since yesterday.
Okay.
So.
We'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, of course, we're underway. First time we're seeing Steph. Of course, she was a seeded athlete and seeded in the 3 seed. The 3 and 4 had a 1 round bye. And so for the first time, she is seeing the lanes in competition mode.
Right.
At this point. Yeah, did you get a chance to chat with her?
Yeah.
Prior to a little bit, what's her gameplay?
Yeah, we did. We were able to see some characteristics on lanes 1 and 2 when we practiced here during the practice sessions on Sunday, but then also paying attention to what happened. Josie bowled her match here, and so Josie and Steffi were talking in the stands quite a bit prior to this round, and then being able to watch Missy, who's also on our staff, bowl just last round on lanes 1 and 2. So just trying to get as much information as possible. It's just really same game plan, just kind of boils down to do what the lane is telling you to do in that moment and follow her gut is really what it boils down to for her. Don't second guess it.
Best of 5 for those of you who may be new to the Tour Championship at this point, or maybe watching for the first time. 16 of the Professional Women's Bowling Association top performers in 2018 advanced either by winning a tour title or having enough competition points on the PWBA points list to advance without winning. That's how you get your 16 and pocket 710 there for Stefanie Johnson. Steph J, one of the players who won a title. She won the Cubica AMF PWBA Players Championship. First career major title in August, actually late August, just a few weeks ago at this point. At a place where she's very familiar with, Plano Super Bowl in Plano, Texas, where does a little work there also.
Yeah.
It's a great win for her. It's a very similar situation at the U.S. Women's Open. It was in Boardwalk Bowl in Orlando. She's the top seed in both. Fell to Liz Colkin, and the connection there was the Central Florida. She starred there as a bowler collegiately, and then also worked there, practiced there.
She did. It was like her
everything.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually been really, really cool to see that she's been able to go to her home center, well, her 2 home centers really, and be that successful, be the number 1 seed in both majors was pretty awesome. The same thing happened last year. She made the TV show in Orlando, I believe was the number 1 seed, and won that event. So there's definitely something. Sometimes I think when you're in your home center, you can get wrapped up in the outside noise of, you know, all these people that are there cheering for you and the expectations, and she just, you know, does what Stefanie does best. She just focuses on what she can control, and to be able to see her overcome what could be that hiccup for some people is pretty awesome.
Diana Zavjalova already with a win here in competition. This morning she defeated Erin McCarthy 3-1. That match is at 9 a.m. Eastern. She's had a little break, 2-4-8-10. She was on 3 and 4 earlier, now on 1 and 2. And I'll ask, just kind of based on observations, Steph, see a great shot there from Maria Rodriguez. Great shot, or excuse me, observations, Shan, from, have you seen any differences in the pairs from what you've been watching?
I have. Lane 1 just seems to just be a little more fresh down lane when you move away from the gutter. Lane 1 to the right seems to wiggle a little bit. Lane 2 seems to just be a little bit tighter overall. But if you move a little bit, like let me go back. I'm really sorry. On lane 1, if you're playing a little closer to the gutter and you miss right, it tends to wiggle. But if you kind of close down your angles on lane 1, it wants to go through the nose. And so what I have seen, for the most part, it seems everybody is playing lane 1, 2, and 1 more than lane 2 eventually, like towards the end of it. But in the middle of the match, they may be playing lane 1 a little bit more because in order to create hold, they have to create angle through the front part of the lane, but still manage their breakpoint down lane. So it can be a little bit tricky, and managing their ball speed is important. On lane 2, it just overall is just a little bit tighter, so they can keep their angles a little bit close and a little bit more in front of them. Like you can see right there, like she fired that right, like 4-5, and it's just a little bit wiggly. Now I do think that every time that they've oiled the lanes in a match has been on them, that the first match that was on this pair was Josie, and it was very drastic. She bowled Kelly the very first overall match. It was really drastic how the lanes were playing. And then now you've kind of seen them start to mellow out a little bit and be a little more similar. But lane 2, last match with Missy and Liz on it, lane 2, the front part of the lane seemed to go away pretty quick. So still important to keep their angles in front of them. Lane 3 and 4, I've only really watched one match over there really intently because I'm only going to be bowling on lanes 1 and 2. So I'm really trying to focus more on 1 and 2. But lanes 3 and 4, I think 3 just hooks overall more than lane 4. So I don't know if that's just topography of the lanes being on the end of the build, but
makes sense.
Yeah.
Big double there for Steph J. Jordan Richard has gone strike 9 spare, split in the third, strike in the fourth, and now up looking for a double. On lane 3 in the booth, Shannon O'Keefe, 2018 PWBA Player of the Year.
Say it again.
PWBA Player? No, it's okay. I mean, you earned it, so believe me. We're going to be saying it for at least the next 365 days.
I like it. I like it. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Jordan and Maria. We saw Maria in a very close match earlier with Rocio.
Yep.
Able to advance 3 games to 2. And a lot of 5-game matches. That's what you'd expect here at the Tour Championship. The competition so strong, so fierce.
Yeah, this is it. This is it for the season. And so you just got to come out here and bowl like your hair's on fire because you literally have nothing to lose. There's, Player of the Year race is over. It's literally just one final title on the line and just give it all you got. Because even though it's best of 5, it's still not a ton of games. So.
Yeah, Steph talked to her yesterday, and she mentioned just kind of how it's a sprint, but it's still there's some remnants of a marathon as well because you got to make sure you're kind of prepared and the games can get by quickly. And next thing you know, you could be down a couple games.
Right.
But then that marathon, obviously, if you can make the right moves, adjustments to somehow extend it to 5, which we've seen happen a couple times already.
Yeah. In a situation like this, when it is best of 5, you see people that have no chance really with 5 or 6 frames left, and then you'll see them start to kind of play around and grab a different ball, and because why not? You have 5 frames to find lightning in a bottle, basically. So there's no reason not to do that, and so we have seen that a little bit here and there. I think it's very smart. I think it's strategic. Then I've also seen people that have been bowling really, really good games, and then just try something on the fill shot just to try it. And of course it looks great because every fill shot seems to be perfect, right? And then they'll switch to that ball, and then it's a complete disaster. So you live and you learn, and sometimes making rash decisions will pay off, and sometimes they don't. So kind of seen both so far in these matches.
Here's Zavjalova looking for a double. This is game 1, match 9 and match 10. At the Old Dominion building inside the Old Dominion building, Richmond Raceway. Good shot there from Zavjalova. Put 2 very good shots on the board in frames 5 and 6. We're getting closer to finding out who will join Shannon O'Keefe.
Everybody
Steph.
calls me Stephanie anyway, so it's fine.
The funny thing is, actually, she said the opposite yesterday.
Everyone calls her Shannon.
And someone called her Shannon.
Yes. We were in the building not even 5 minutes. She's like, I got my first one, Shannon. I'm like, I know.
So, yes. So, we're getting closer to finding out who will join Shannon O'Keefe as the number 1 seed and Danielle McEwen, who is the number 2 seed. Those 2 players are automatically seeded into the semifinals here at the Tour Championship. We'll see them tomorrow night on the lanes. CBS Sports Network. A shot there from Stefanie. Jordan Richards had to step up. We talked about Jordan's season. Very detailed, of course, and by this point, if you've been following the tour, you know a little bit about Jordan and her season and why. Of course, she was able to win Rookie of the Year. But mainly to me, it's about shots like that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really kind of come out, and it's very rare that you see. First of all, she's a great shot maker.
Mm-hmm.
But to be that great at 22.
Yeah. Scary, right?
Yeah, and it's, you don't see it that often, and so it's, you go wild, and all of us, you just look ahead. We can't look that far ahead, but certainly the future is definitely bright. Kick that 10 out, Steph.
That was a really good shot by Stefanie right there. The last one on that lane, she got up the lane a little bit, and that one was just perfect. Yeah, the thing that's really cool with Jordan is, I guess, like for me, I coach collegiately, and so I've been able to watch her. All 4 years that I've coached in college, she bowled in college, and so I really got to kind of see her grow through the collegiate process and become more confident in herself and her abilities and what she's able to do. And I knew she'd come out here and be successful. She's just dominant, and she is powerful of a player she is. She's very stable and simple at the same time, if that makes sense. There's not a lot of moving parts, but her hand is just in such an unbelievable spot, and what she can do at the bottom is incredible. And then it goes on top of that, not only is she a power player, but she can repeat it. And she's a really good spare shooter. And so all those 3 things really is an incredible recipe for success. And, she still has that kind of little monkey on her back. Hasn't been there long for not winning on live TV. But her day's coming.
It's pretty cool to think about her August.
Yeah.
Although she didn't win, but she made all 4 telecasts live TV at that. And gave herself, obviously, plenty of opportunities to win.
I think the biggest thing is you just have to continue putting yourself in that situation. And that's one thing I talked to her at the end of one show. I said, Jordan, I know it's frustrating. I get it. But all you can do is keep putting yourself in position and knocking on the door. And one of these days, it will be your day. And then all the rest will just kind of disappear. And that's all she can do. Just keep putting herself in position. So,
want to say hello to everyone checking in with us. You're here to watch matches 9 and 10. And so Mel and Michael and Sean and 22 Catch 22 and Scott and Jim and Shell and Cheryl and Frank.
That's a lot of people. Hi, guys.
And Sal. Maya and Commander and Bluegrass and Jeff and Matt and Bobby, Frank, and I know I missed some folks, I'm sorry. Angie. Mr. Pate checking in. All right, PBA washout for Steph J. Jordan Richard, meanwhile, 4 in a row. and now matches Maria's 4 in a row. I'll tell you, Maria, for the first time, won a match at the Tour Championship, and I know she had made some jokes about that.
Oh, really?
But, yes, so she's been here. I believe this is her 3rd time. I hadn't got out of the first round yet until this morning. And so she went over to the bracket board, of course, because when you win a match, you go over to the board and you move the players. Probably seen some videos on social, but we have small player faces on the board.
You move her little head along.
And she moved hers all the way to the
did she?
to the finals.
Oh, that's cool.
But you know,
we gotta believe it's possible.
Absolutely. But to me, she showed something a little extra in her match against Rocio because it was very close, obviously very tight after 4 frames, and it looked like obviously it could have gone either way. And she kind of buckled down, made 2 really good shots, made spares, and then ran off the next 5 to win the match.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's when you look at Maria, for example, kind of what do you see? I know obviously you compete against her on tour, you see her internationally, Team Columbia, Team USA.
Maria has a really cool personality when it comes to bowling. She wants it. She's got that from the gut, like I wanna win. But she also is able to handle the down moments with a little bit of comedic relief at times. She'll make a bad shot and she'll turn and look at Nathan and she'll just roll her eyes and kind of giggle like, what in the world was that? And I do think that you have to have some of that. It can't just be beat up yourself all the time, every time. That's something I struggle with. And so it's a challenge. And so she just has a really, really cool personality. She's relaxed and she's a lot of fun, but she still wants it at the same time. And I think when she really finds that balance, she's going to be phenomenal.
7-pin, second shot in the 10th, and made a ball change, as you talked about earlier. Mathematically had the match wrapped up, so went to something a little bit early and perhaps even give herself 2 chances to see something different.
Mm-hmm.
Makes the spare 249 officially. Stefanie Johnson, best she can do on 1 and 2 is shoot 207.
Yeah, she's super washed out in the 8th frame. She's got a little right, and that's the lane that's just overall a little bit tighter. So, just wasn't a good shot.
And DZ continues to roll.
Yeah, Diana's a little bit softer than Stefanie, so she's a little bit further left than Stefanie. And so she's just kind of bouncing it off that trackish area. For those that don't know what I mean by track, I'm talking 8 through 12-ish on the lane through the arrows.
That brings up a good point, and something that someone had a question about. I'm going to get to it, ask you your thoughts on that in just a sec. Is he looking good? Earlier, Diana went against Aaron 229, 206, 268, 246. So obviously some strong games there, taking that match 3 games to 1. So I think obviously with a clear beat on what she wants to do on this pattern, she told me after practice that if she threw it good, she said it was going to be tough for her to be beat. But she did also throw some bad shots and got to look at what the bad shots on this will do.
Right.
And if she can limit those,
yes,
she liked her chances.
Yeah. No, she has definitely, I didn't watch her in practice. I really didn't watch anybody in practice. I'm focusing on my own thing. But I watched her the first match against Aaron, and the first thing that I said to our ball reps was, oh, she's throwing it better. And she's throwing a little bit firmer. She's keeping it out in front of her a little bit. And so it's keeping her hand in a really good spot. And there was definitely points throughout the season where that wasn't in play. It was a little too slow at times. And so, no, she's throwing it really good right now. And she's obviously very confident in match play. Her history shows that she's tough in match play. And from what we're seeing on the lanes as of right now, because her speed, even though it's firmer than it was throughout the majority of the season, is still a little bit on the softer side. And it allows her to open up the lane a little bit and give her a little bit of room down lane. So she's definitely liking what she's seeing.
All right, Steph makes the spare, and then It looked to me that she didn't throw a spare ball at that shot. Maybe I was.
She did throw her spare ball, but
did.
she threw something different the first shot in the 10th. You know, the match was already, or the game was already matched up, was already won by Diana, so she might as well try something else. So looks like she's going to throw it again. My guess off of that shot, she's probably going to move a little bit left. She's using a pearl, well, it's a hybrid asymmetrical ball, but it's got a really big core, so make her feel like it'll come off of it a little bit harder.
Official game one score 244-187 in favor of Zavjalova. Maria Jose Rodriguez 249, Jordan Richard 214. We're into game two for both matches. So, Shan, I'll wait till you finish your thought on in the journal.
Okay.
Already off and running on 3 and 4. Zavjalova first shot game two over on 1 and 2.
All right, what do you got for me?
Okay, so someone asked earlier in the match, and they talked about what are the differences generally versus in new lanes, new install versus established lanes that obviously have been bowled on over several games, et cetera, et cetera. So,
well,
in your common experience,
I don't have too much experience bowling on new lanes because you don't really see a lot of new bowling centers being built these days, right? But from going off of the few times, you know, I got to bowl years ago, I got to bowl inside Cowboy Stadium. So, of course, they built lanes there. They hooked. You know, we didn't bowl on them a lot. We had about an hour and a half practice, and then the practice right before the TV show. And the pattern, even though it was the same, it just hooked quite a bit. You know, I don't know if it's just because, you know, brand new, and I don't. When they clean the lanes, this would be more of a question for like a lane man. But when they strip and they re-oil or just strip them, do they get the full amount of oil off of them, or is there still some residue there? You know, just I don't know. And then I got to bowl outside on the streets of Reno, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, that was just a dust bowl." Yes, what you saw on TV was a dust bowl. But what I can tell you is that afternoon when we practiced outside in Reno on those brand new lanes, they actually played tighter than they did in the stadium, where we were putting surface on our bowling balls just to get the ball to read it. And so I had two completely different experiences with new build. Well, then last year and this year from the practice sessions, first off in practice, they just hooked. Again, you know, the first time you bowled on, they just hooked. And last year, I remember my practice session thinking, oh man, I'm throwing it terrible. It just feels bad. I remember calling Brian on the phone and telling him I had a terrible practice and I just didn't know what I was going to do and I didn't have a clear picture. But then as the matches went on and spares were thrown and they re-oiled and they just kind of tamed down and kind of got more kind of normal. And then Sunday when we had practice session here, it was the same thing. I started overthrowing it almost because they hooked so much, and I just had to remind myself it's the first time they've been oiled. You just got to chill out, just work on your physical game stuff. They will settle down, and that I have seen them start to settle down. I don't know if you've noticed that by watching, but they've settled down quite a bit from the first round of matches. So I would say brand new installs, maybe the very first time you bowl on them, they could hook quite a bit. But then over time, they may end up being tighter for a couple years, and then bowling over time ends up kind of beating them up in the track, and they start to hook again. So that's my experience.
They definitely hooked in practice.
Yes.
There was no question about that.
But they've settled down since.
Indeed. Rodriguez almost lost her footing there. And that's a 3-bagger and keeping pace with the 4-bagger Jordan Richard has already put up. And that match is going by very quickly. And that's what happens, obviously,
when you throw that many strikes.
When you throw strikes. A total of 7 out of 8 to start. And Zavjalova really has got a kind of a clear look to me. Again, and it's looked strong so far here through, at this point, 1 or 2 matches. Or 1 1/4.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the PWBA Tour Championship. That's 9 and 10.
Ooh.
Nice break for Rodriguez. You know, we've seen kind of the most breaks on lane 3.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. Diana got, she had a few hits like that carry. Some late 10 pins to fall on lane 3 this morning. That doesn't help you tomorrow.
No. It'll be great in practice. Oh, I probably caught her right there because I'm laughing, so sorry.
How about that? Someone mentioned they had just shot, they had rolled 300 on brand new lanes.
Ooh, congratulations. That's
Nicely
exciting.
Done. Nicely done, Jesse. DZ. Resets well. A double. And we watched Jordan Richard. Rodriguez with a 4-bagger of her own. This has turned into must-see TV. Jordan, of course, a rookie. We talked about obviously no experience here at the Tour Championship, but her season has been not indicative of being a rookie. And so,
right.
You know, I guess at the end of the day, not completely shocked that she doesn't really look unfazed.
No.
Phased, I should say.
She's already been in such big moments. She's already been in big moments in her 9 tournaments bowling on tour than some girls have been in their 4 years bowling on tour. So she's already been there. She's put herself there. She believes it's possible. And so to see her just kind of be confident in what she brings to the table and just repeating that and doing that over and over and over, it's cool to see. She's playing like 17, 18. Yeah. But I will say that is something that I did see in practice. You know, you could fidget a little bit to the right. The pattern we bowled on in this building on this build last year, we could play further to the right, and it's just not really in play from what we've seen. Whether it's the pattern that doesn't allow you to do it or it's the lanes itself doesn't allow you to do that. When I was practicing, because I was able to take advantage of both practice sessions on Sunday, and I definitely had better carry through the pins if I was able to kind of soften up my speed and kind of open up the lane a little bit more, you know, like what Jordan's doing, crossing 17, kind of what Diana's, you know, crossing 15, 16 through the arrows, and just kind of feeding it to 8, 9. I definitely had better carry doing that, and I saw that on Sunday. And so it really doesn't surprise me that Kelly, who's able to do that, is bowling well. Maria, Diana, you know, it's just kind of a common theme there, I think. It just kind of matches what their eye likes to see and how they like to bowl. So we'll see.
It's definitely working out on 3 and 4 right now. Rodriguez struck in the 6th frame. Very interesting stat that we'll talk about after Maria's shot here. Keep pace. What a shot. So the player, and this is for every match bowled so far, the player to win game 1 has won every match.
Ooh. It's interesting.
Shout out to Aaron Smith for that noteworthy information.
Thanks, Aaron.
DZ put the hands behind the back and wasn't sure, but she'll take it.
Yeah, I gotta believe, you know, I know, you know, when you get up and you don't execute the shot to the best of your ability and it still results in a strike, definitely kind of relaxes you a little bit and frees up that arm swing. I'm sure people have heard that before. What I mean by that is it just makes you feel like you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to split boards at 40 feet down lane. And it will help her to just kind of relax a little bit and maybe not be so grabby at the bottom with her hand trying to fit it. Or not just her, but just anybody in general. At least in my experience, that's what I've seen and have felt.
DZ looking for 4 in a row. Oh, that one wide there.
You know, that one, I was actually watching her feet because I'm in this really big habit of watching where people slide because I do it every shot in my job, watching my girls at McKendree. And so it's just kind of my habit. And her footing did not look right going into the line on that shot. So if it felt as weird as it looked to me, it probably was the reason why there was an errant shot like that. Unfortunately, as much as we wish we were, we're not robots, so.
But Danielle is.
We call her a little robot. Oh, come on. I think that's the worst break in bowling. Truly.
Is.
You do everything you're supposed to do. You send the pin over there and, like, come on.
Front 8 attempt for Richard. Oh, it was a no-doubter.
She's a beast.
Well, we've certainly got ourselves a match here. Richard trying to even the match. Rodriguez took game 1, 249-214. And at the moment, obviously trailing in the match here is Stefanie Johnson, who also trails in her match to Zavjalova by a game. Break there on the 2. Okay, well, they maybe got down on the lane a little early. Now Rodriguez in the 8th, looking for a 7-bagger of her own. Push a little bit, and the ultimate price there.
Did not like that one off her hand.
So she'll have to try to obviously get the count. We have seen the experiment, actually, Missy Parkin.
She did.
Yesterday. Spare for Stefanie Johnson.
So you do see the girls, quite a few of them, I think, throughout the matches. You've seen them have issues, you know, checking the approaches, and one time they stick, and the next time they slide. And that was something that at times can be a challenge with new builds. You know, you don't have the thousands upon thousands of shots of people sliding, and it matters. In my first practice here, it probably took me about 15 to 17 minutes to really get my footing comfortable, and it was changing soles multiple times in order to get it. And then once I was able to get comfortable, then I was able to just kind of settle in and make some shots. But up until that point, it looked atrocious, and so that sometimes can be a challenge as well.
6 frame for Steph. The carry here. Now Rodriguez back up in the 9th, trying to get back on track after the open.
Oh.
No carry there.
How many of those have we seen?
We've seen a lot of those, and 10 pins.
Yeah.
Half pocket 10. It's just like that don't carry the 7.
Yeah.
And that's why it's been kind of rare to see when players do get some breaks.
When they go a little light and they actually fall. But when they go light and they fall, it's weird. It's like the 4-7 fall together type thing. It's really bizarre.
There haven't been very many messengers.
No.
Maybe seen 2 in all the matches we've seen so far. A good shot there from DZ. Back on track, 6 frame. Jordan Richard looking for 9 in a row.
Oh.
Really?
Really? Oh, That's just rude.
Well, she is tied essentially Lindsay Boomershine. Longest string of strikes we've seen. It's been the front 8. Lindsay had the front 8 yesterday in her match. Richard with the front 8. Zavjalova lane 1. Gets the 10 out. She's made this before, has Jordan Richard.
Ooh.
She's made it at the Players Championship.
It's fun.
Actually, yeah.
Have you ever made it?
I have not.
Ah.
I have not. I am not one of those awesome individuals.
One of the first times I made it when I was in youth league, and I used to throw it 100 miles an hour. I was terrible. Just threw it really hard. Softball player. It just is what it is. And I left it. I think I left it in the league. And I shot it. I don't even know what pin I shot at, but I was so mad that I turned around and I made it. And I didn't even get to see it because I was so mad that I left it. I'm like, well, that'll teach you to turn around on a... See, there's that weird 7-pin hit again. And so that was the one and only time that I've ever shot at a 7-10 and turned around. Now I watch it every time.
But nearing the end of game 2, again, best of 5. 10th frame for Jordan. Well,
she needs to make it.
Needs to make it. As I say, the match isn't quite over yet.
That's the thing, too. I don't know how many people watching have watched a lot of the matches, but it was one of the first things that we noticed in practice was how much our spare balls were hooking.
We've talked about it.
Yeah. I've shut down all my angles a little bit on my spares on the left side and have increased my angles all on the right side to account for that little bit of extra hook that you're not expecting.
How often have you seen that in your experience as a competitor?
Where the spare ball hooks like that?
I mean, minus, patterns that may suggest it, like
shorter patterns.
32-foot pattern or something like that.
Yeah, shorter patterns are just a surface that just flat out hooks. An older surface or HBLs seem to, your ball tends to want to pick up in the mid lane and hook. But if you shoot at enough of them in practice and you're paying attention, I think the number one thing that a lot of bowlers kind of get stuck in is they're so focused on what they're doing that they could probably avoid the mistake being made if they were a little bit more aware of what was going on around them. So just being aware, before I even shot at a spare, I saw 2 or 3 girls shoot at him and the ball hooked. I was like, okay, well, that's how that is going to happen this week. And so I already kind of knew it was going to happen. So I think just being aware of what's going on, not dwelling on what other people are doing, but just aware, because there is a difference.
Big shot for DZ, and she's on a 3-bagger. Jordan Richard officially in the books here, 256 game 2.
See, that's what I mean. She's so cute. She's got such a cool personality.
Oh, 2, 4, 5. Of course, want to make the spare here. She want to try something on the fill. And it hooks just a touch. And she wanted that fill. There's no question about it.
Without question.
So that match even now at 1 game apiece. Zavjalova. Looking solid. That lone open. It's a washout on the left lane in the 5th. 4-bagger. And Steph J's going to have to come up with a couple strikes here. Maybe put a little pressure on Diana. Show up here in the 10th.
It's kind of a must-have situation right here for Steph.
Richard starts us off on 3 and 4. And then essentially picking up where she left off. Carry on the 4. And a 2-8 there for Rodriguez. Just kind of shakes that one off a little bit. Like, obviously I don't think that was a good one.
Right.
Make the spare move on. 2-8s haven't been the most easiest things in the world this week also. I forget which player it was. I think it was Brianna Cote who missed one. And then you saw she squared up. She actually kind of went left to right, then squared up the second time.
Yep.
To ensure that she made it. Oh. Really good shot there from Stefanie. All about doing for this game. 2-8s always scared me.
It's not a fun spare. It's kind of like this joke that we have with our kids at McKendree. If they're listening, they know what I'm talking about. But we were not making them a couple years ago very well. And so on the bus ride home, Brian gave every girl a piece of paper and said, if you leave a 2-8, I just want you to write down your adjustment that you make to shoot at it in general. Because obviously, depending on what the pattern is doing, the move may be a little different. But in general, what is your move? And it was a bit alarming and eye-opening for us as coaches. It was something that needed to be addressed. And now our girls actually are really good at making them. But there for a while, every time that they would make one, they would turn and yell, "For Brian!" Because he was the one that really kind of pointed it out that, 2-8s are tough, really. And I fall into the same trap. I would say the multi-pin spare that I probably miss the most would be the 2-8.
All right, Stefanie, 206. That will not be enough here. Zavjalova to another good start. Dropped the stat about D earlier in regards to coming into the event, career games, and some of the averages. Zavjalova 5 in a row. Came into the event in 16 career games at the Tour Championship, 222.75. Shannon, you've got a lot of games in this tournament. Not sure if you know that.
Well, I've always made it to the round right before TV. I mean, the 2 years that I bowled this event, I've bowled all 3 matches. And then last year, I bowled all 3 matches and then bowled the 2 matches on TV.
Right.
So I've bowled just about every match there is to bowl in the tournament.
You've got 37 games.
Yeah.
Which I believe is the most.
Well, hopefully after tomorrow night, it's 39 games.
Fair enough. That's right.
Actually, we were just talking about that. Liz Johnson obviously is the greatest of all time. She's phenomenal, and she just looked a little bit out of sorts earlier in her match and just didn't ever look like she really got comfortable. And it just happens. Is that going to all of a sudden mean that she's not the greatest of all time?
Right.
Obviously not.
Right.
And she's phenomenal, and so what makes her so great is she's resilient, and she'll bounce back from that. But the crazy thing is so the first 3 years she was Player of the Year, and so she's been seeded onto the TV show all 3 years, has never won a match, so she was 0-3, and then she bowled against Kelly and didn't even win a game. And so here's the greatest of all time in this format, and hasn't won a game yet in 4 years. That is crazy when you think about that.
It is a very much an oddity.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, if you would have...
One of the most unexpected things.
Yeah, if you would have said that to me 4 years ago, I would have been, you are crazy and don't know what you're talking about. But it's, that's just crazy to me.
Joined in the booth by 2018 PWBA Player of the Year, Shannon O'Keefe. Emil Williams Jr. here with you. We have got these matches to go, and this will wrap up round number 2. And then at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll get into the quarterfinals, which will take place again at 6 p.m. right here on Bowl TV.
And the winner of those matches make it to TV.
That is correct.
And join Danielle and myself, so that's exciting.
And the way it will work right now, we know one quarterfinal. It'll be Kelly Kulick versus Liz Colkin. The winner of that match will move on to face said Shannon O'Keefe on television. The winner of these two respective matches will move on to the quarterfinals. And then, of course, the winner there will face Danielle McEwen. So off and running in game number 3 on 1 and 2. Zavjalova with a quick 2-0 lead till Steph J. Steph J with her work cut out for her. I saw a couple questions for Shannon that I'll try to get to.
I can answer one that I got in a text message.
Okay.
So, I'm sure everybody knows this, but my dad is super active when it comes to watching bowling, and
Sure.
I'm his baby, so it is what it is. But he asked me, he said, why are there no rangefinders down lane? And it's something that I've actually heard multiple people ask walking through the building. So what we mean by rangefinders, I wish I had the little thing that I could draw.
Sure.
So in some centers, you see 2 rangefinders down lane, which are really helpful when you're trying to control your break point. Oh, there's dripping on the approach again, like massive dripping. Is it raining outside again? I don't know, but there's a big water spot. Hold tight, guys, while we figure this out. I will explain that rangefinder thing in a second. That's a mat. Do you see that?
Well, of course, we have been bitten by the rain and water bug this week. And so
It is raining outside. I just looked at the...
obviously the last thing we would want and hope to happen at this point.
You know, it's a good thing she noticed that, because I actually thought that if they hadn't seen that and somebody stepped in it and then tried to bowl, they could really hurt themselves. So, well, here, while we're in this rain delay, let me explain the whole rangefinder thing until we figure out what's going on. So you typically, or in a lot of places, you will see 2 darker boards down lane, and those are really nice. One is at the 5 board and one is on the 10 board, and what's really, really cool about that is it kind of helps you get an idea of where your ball is at the break point, meaning the furthest it gets right down lane prior to hooking back to the pocket. Well, this build is Qubica AMF, and Qubica AMF does not build lanes with the rangefinders. That is a Brunswick patented thing. So you may be in a center where it's a AMF center, and maybe AMF bought it from previous people and they still have the Brunswick lanes, or you'll see some people, if it's privately owned, they'll paint the rangefinders on. But that's why there's no rangefinders.
So quick quote-unquote exact decision here. And they're in the middle of the game. Almost there in the middle of the game. But 1 game apiece between Jordan Richard and Maria Jose Rodriguez. They're going to continue to bowl. And I imagine at least finish this game. And then perhaps it's time to think about how to address what's going on 1 and 2, and then make the appropriate decisions at that point. This is a little different situation than what we've dealt with yesterday.
Right.
Because each time when we did have some issues with water, they were prior to bowling.
Correct.
And so this is actually the first time where it's
in the middle of the match.
It's actually affected,
right,
or could affect a match at this
right.
point.
The crazy thing, too, is, you know, this just kind of shows how much rain and kind of the weather we've had here. They just put a brand new roof on this building. And so, you know, something either went a little miss, or it's just really, the weather's just been that crazy that it's just causing some havoc right up here. But they've been really, really good and really quick for the most part and diligent at being able to fix it. So I said yesterday to Brian and Rob Gottschall that they just need to buy some of that that Flexi Seal stuff. Have you seen that on the infomercials? The guy cuts a hole in the bottom of a boat and then he sprays it. I just need to do that. You know, I can't help but think this has got to be really distracting for Jordan and Maria. Obviously, it's not an ideal situation. Sometimes this is where you find out how mentally tough you are to be able to kind of overcome the things that are going on around you. You know, I remember the very first year I ever made Team USA. It was a really long time ago because I'm old. But one of the first things that our coach has ever said to us, and it has stuck with me, and I've brought it to McKendree, and I use it in every day of my life, is you just have to expect the unexpected. And what that, in essence, means is, you know, when things happen that you don't expect, instead of getting all upset about it and letting it affect you, you just got to kind of roll with the punches and say, well, we're just going to go with it. And so it's something in this situation, if I was talking to them, that I would probably say.
It's an unfortunate situation, and one that, when we looked at the forecast this morning, there was the expectation of rain at about this time.
Yep.
And I actually thought it was a little earlier. I thought it was about 1, but I don't think there had been any rain. And if there was, there wasn't enough to warrant. But, yeah, it's been that way the last couple of days. There's been some remnants, of course, and hurricane and whatnot. And this area in Richmond actually has certain areas of it taking some hits. And so hopefully everyone here is okay.
Notice when we were driving down this main road where the track is off of the highway, did you notice all the trees and roofs ripped off and light poles down?
Yes, I believe it's Laburnum Street.
Yeah.
And on the way here, there was, I don't know the type of tree, but it was, kind of right in the middle and split in half.
But there was multiple. Where that one tree was, we looked down the street before that, and down the whole street there was trees all over the place. And we took an Uber here this morning, and he said that this area got rocked last night, and which is kind of freaky because we're only like 3 miles from that spot. Yep. So it was a little scary.
Good shot there for Richard. Leaves a 4-9. This potentially could be the first open of the match by either player. The good news is for everyone involved, and we've talked about it yesterday, the fact that staffs, that's got a chance. The staffs from both, obviously, PWBA and Richmond Raceway have been on it every step of the way, and that's what's happening right now. But again, trying to get this game complete. Jordan and Maria, and both the respective reps, just trying to, talk to their players. And you talked about the potential distractions, but trying to hone in and just focus on what's happening on the lanes.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. This is something really good, if people are watching, especially if any of my kids are watching or any young player is watching. This is a perfect example of really trying to drown out what's going around you. My big thing this year with my kids at school is no excuses. No excuses. And this is a perfect example where, Jordan 4-9, and she could have turned around and said, and started blaming everything under the sun, but she didn't. She tried to shoot at it and then fires back with a strike, and she's just right back in it. And that's what mentally tough people do. People that are mentally a little on the weaker side, I know that's very bold of me to say, but they look for excuses, and they look for excuses as to why things aren't going well, instead of looking in the mirror, taking ownership and accountability and responsibility. Like, one thing I say to kids is, take accountability and responsibility, or take accountability for where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. And that's really what it is. And so anyways, no excuses. And these girls most certainly aren't looking for excuses of what's going on. They're just diving in, and that's what makes them some of the greatest bowlers in the world.
shot there from Rodriguez. Big double. But Maria has remained clean. The lone open here. That 4-9 from Richard came on the left lane. But really good points you made, Shane, in regards to, in every sport, all the greats talk about the mental challenges.
Yep.
And it is very important, obviously. Here is Jay Rich looking to get back on it. And
I'm a firm believer.
Uh-oh.
See? See? I'm a firm believer that excuses just hold you back from accomplishing and achieving things that otherwise you would be capable of. And I most certainly don't want to make an excuse, because that one excuse could hold you back from doing what you're capable of doing, and could hold you back for years because of one little excuse. And so it's my big thing this year. Normally at McKendree we always have some sort of hashtag like just keep coming, bearcatting, repeat the feat, whatever that hashtag is. And this year I told my kids that Coach Shannon was making up the hashtag, and it was hashtag no excuses. And it's true. I don't want to know why you missed a workout. I don't care why you got a C on that paper. I don't care why you missed class. What I want you to do is take accountability and ownership of it and fix it. And that's the only way they're going to be better for it. Right now they probably think she's nuts. She's crazy. She's mean, whatever it is. But in the long run, they'll be better for it.
All right, Richard stepping up, 9th frame. Right now, max score 206. It's a good shot.
It's a really good shot.
Trips of 4. I will update everyone in regards to if you haven't kind of been in the know about what's happening or what has happened in the last couple of days here at the Tour Championship. The short of it is we've had a little bit of a leaky roof.
Rain delay.
And it just happens to be about halfway from the approach to the foul line, only really on lane 2.
Yeah, right around like the 15-16 board. Kind of right where you would walk if you were playing in the track.
That shot there from Rodriguez. It's a 3-bagger. And ultimately, but the good news is, out of all of this, it hasn't affected 3 and 4. And so last night, for example, or I should say yesterday, we had to reschedule some things. Actually came out to try to do some work on the roof. We started at 3, got through those matches, both matches on both pairs. Had some issues right before we were about to bowl at 6. Had to delay, and we ended up bowling both matches last night on 3 and 4. One match complete, re-oil, next match, and depending on what happens, but my guess is that would be our go-to in this situation. So
have them finish up on.
Yeah, it's very possible that this match will complete on 3 and 4. It's unfortunate if that is the case. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't got the official word.
Right.
And once I get the official word, you'll certainly know about it.
But let's rewind and talk about some of the excitement throughout the day yesterday.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how many people that are currently watched yesterday or watched all day, because it was a really long day. But the matches were supposed to start at noon. Leaky roof. We don't start till 3. Okay, no big deal. Come back at 3. They bowl the matches. And then we were under a tornado warning and watch from about 3:30 to about 5:30.
Big spare for Rodriguez. That will essentially close out the match here. She just needs 1 pin. And mathematically will hold a 2-1 lead over Jordan Richard.
So then we're getting ready for the next round of matches. It was at 6 o'clock, right? Well, the weather was so bad and so scary, and there was tornadoes all over the place. Literally tornadoes all over the place, that Bree Cote and Missy were still at the hotel, and they weren't comfortable leaving the hotel, which I do not blame them. So during this, while we're waiting for them to come here, there was kind of a stop in the rain. So call us crazy, but so many of us decided to go outside and just kind of take a peek at what was going on. And I have never in person seen clouds that low, and then swirling that much over our heads. It was actually really cool. So Stefanie and I are with one of the security guards on the southwest corner of the building, and we walk around so we can see the front over towards the track, and there was about 15 people out front with their cell phones, and they said that they had seen funnel clouds kind of dropping out of the clouds, which was so exciting. Not exciting, but still exciting.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And so anyway, so we come in, and then we're ready to start matches, and boom. And then we have leaky roof again.
Yep.
And then we're like, okay. Then that's when they say, okay, we're going to bowl back-to-back matches on 3 and 4. Okay, we got a plan. No big deal. And about halfway through Missy and Brie Cote warming up, boom, we lose the power. It was a crazy night.
It was an interesting day.
So,
certainly one of the most interesting days I've seen, and whether it's sports or whatever. Good shot for
yeah,
Richard.
she changed balls there, so we'll see what she's going to do here. But, yeah, so it was just an interesting day. We were all here. I mean, what time did you get here yesterday?
I was actually here at, we were supposed to start at
noon. Probably got here at like 10-ish.
I think I was here at 9-ish, 9:30.
Yes.
9:30, actually.
So 9:30, and you got out of here last night around midnight?
It was after midnight.
Yeah, and so it's just a long day, and we couldn't really get out to get food because
right.
What are we going to do, run
Weather
across the
wasn't-
street and
exactly.
dodge a tornado? Like, so it was challenging. But hey, we're still bowling, and we're still going to crown a champion tomorrow night, and we just do what you can, right?
All right, so off and running here. Rodriguez now holds the 2-1 lead over Jordan Richard. And I think without question what's happening is 3 and 4 are going to ensure they complete their match. Again, we'll wait for the official word to know what the decision will be on 1 and 2. Again, I've got a pretty good idea of what it will be. That doesn't mean it's going to be correct. All right, so for Rodriguez, with the lead in the match, again, the distractions, I think the key word ultimately will be one of those deciding factors. Shannon mentioned the mental portion of it yesterday. Just everyone at some point, because of the weather elements, has had to deal with some adversity as a player, because it obviously throws things off and you get out of your routine.
Yes.
When you have to, for at least for 100% worry about what's happening around you.
Right.
And then how quickly can you get back into what you as a player need to do to make you successful.
Right.
From the mental perspective. And I think that's true here for both players. And now it's a situation where Jordan, who last night, 3-0 over Shannon Puhalski, so facing a different situation, now trailing in a match and has to win 2 games to win.
Right.
In advance. And now Maria in a situation where she's up 2 games.
Right. They're both in a situation that's a little foreign to them. And it just really boils down to mental toughness. I think every player at this level works on their mental game at times, probably more than their physical game. I'm constantly reading. I have my journal that I have with me all the time. It's just everybody has their thing that works for them, and they fine-tune it as the years go on. And I think that's why you see the level of play every single year being elevated out here, because we have a constant tour, but on top of that, everyone's always trying to outwork the next person because they have their own personal goals that they want to achieve. And the biggest thing, in my opinion, at this level is just mental toughness.
So throughout, as we kind of just focus and hone in on this match, from a lane play perspective, have we seen anything that will give you caution in a sense, and where you have a good idea of what each player is still looking for at this point with a few games in on this pair?
Yeah, I think they've both really kind of settled in. They're both very close. They're kind of almost on top of each other, and so it's going to just be, who's going to get their ball to go through the pins the right way consistently in order to continue carrying through this match. They're really kind of on top of each other. Jordan has a really, heavier roll, more end over end. Maria's got a little bit more rotation, a little bit higher of a tilt. And so their balls do different things, and their adjustments are going to be a little bit different, but still playing the lanes very similar.
All eyes on this match here on 3 and 4. 6-pin up here for Rodriguez. Again, our bracket reads spare for Maria. The winners of our 2 respective matches here will move on to face each other in the quarterfinals. And again, it's funny. Earlier I said, and I was given the schedule, and I said, yep, we got quarterfinals, or we got the rest of round 2 at 3, and the quarterfinals at 6. And then I said, scheduled to begin, at 6 p.m. So whether that happens, we'll find out. Good shot from Richard. And just like that, Jordan now starts with the front 3.
Yep. She took advantage of a really good break the last time on that lane. She went Brooklyn. She changed balls. She was throwing a really strong asymmetrical ball, and ball down to still a decent size core symmetrical or asymmetrical ball, but it just gets through the front of the lane a little bit cleaner and comes off the spot a little bit harder. And so as she started kind of plaque 10ing and light 7, the strongest asymm ball she was using was starting to bog down, starting to lose energy down lane, so it wasn't going through the pins the right way. And so as she started moving left, she needed a ball that was going to continue through the back part of the lane, which she's now made that decision on the right lane. She's still using the stronger asymm on the left lane. As I mentioned earlier, lane 3 overall just seems to hook a little bit more, and so she's able to still get away with using a stronger asymm ball. The reason being, you'd question, why would you use a stronger ball on the lane that hooks more? Well, she's using it to get it to slow down from front to back, not so much right to left.
Four in a row for Jay Rich. Rodriguez, 3 consecutive 9 spares.
She made a ball change.
Again, no love on the 7. That's been a constant and consistent hit here. So we'll be able to learn a lot about each of these players. This is a single elimination bracket format. Stay on the lane. It does. So not a double elimination. Sometimes when you see brackets, especially in our sport, the Queens, for example, is a double elimination tournament. Tour Championship, single elimination, and also best of 5. Queens total pinfall 3 games, so the differences in both formats there. It looked like she may have made a move left on the lane as well.
Yeah, that lane for her, she looks, I don't know if that was a great shot. Looks like she's a little behind it on that lane. She left the 6-pin the shot before, so we'll probably see her make a move.
The good news for her, again, keeping it clean at the very least, and you're not, this is not the thought process, and without question, but keeping it clean and to give herself still an opportunity to win this game, because no matter what Jordan Richard is doing, and by
this
all
match
accounts,
isn't over.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, Jordan has moved about 4 deeper with her feet. So she's starting to just she's just staying ahead of it. So I think if Maria's going to want to keep up, she's going to have to go with her.
So again, if you are just joining us, we did have both matches ongoing simultaneously. Stefanie Johnson and Diana Zavjalova. That match has been delayed over on 1 and 2. Dealing with some recurrent issues in regards to some water leaking through from the roof. 3 and 4 unaffected. They have continued to bowl. Thing that was thrown at it yesterday.
Yeah.
And
that's
I mean,
amazing.
It took some punches yesterday. So big thanks to Richmond Raceway. And I want to reiterate that. I know, it may sound bad, and obviously we can't deny that there's water leaking from the roof, but they've done everything in their power to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's not like they planned that. Oh, we're going to mess them up. We're going to cut a little hole in the roof here. So right? It's like, it's not. It's just unfortunate timing. But it is what it is, and they have been nothing but professional through this entire situation. And we make a phone call to them, and they're over here really quick. So
2-7-8, and I think the 2 moved just slightly.
Oh,
wow. I think it moved just enough for the 2 to go around the 7. That was a big spare attempt for Rodriguez, who had not struck yet. And so now Jordan, who's coming off a pocket 7-10, back up in the 7th frame right lane. Best Maria can do is shoot 210. That is her max score at the moment. Maria Rodriguez. Here's Richard. Great shot coming off and open. And she's got that look in her eye that certainly wants to send this match to the 5th and deciding game, up 26.
Yeah, she's not done yet. Which I don't think you can ever count any of these ladies out. That's why they're here. That's why they're the top 16.
Jordan Richard. Her parents are here, right?
They are.
Okay.
Yep.
Saw mom and dad here this week. They were there actually for in the Greater Harrisburg Open.
Yeah.
She won her first title.
It literally was the sweetest.
Ho, ho, ho.
Great little break right there.
It
was the sweetest thing ever, watching her win her first title and being there firsthand to experience it and see the emotion, and to see her walk back and just fall apart in the sweetest way into her dad's arms was just precious.
Great family.
Yeah.
A lot to obviously be proud of both Jordan and Haley, her twin sister. Here's Rodriguez. That looked pretty good from the start. And exclaims, puts both hands up, proud fist, happy about that one.
She just looked at me when she was walking over to the other lane and started giggling. And that's what I mean. It's just such a cool personality. In a situation like this, somebody could panic, like, oh, geez, I could have had it wrapped up. This could be over. We're going to go to game 5 and freak out. She's just, she takes the lumps, and she's just like, this ain't over yet, and I'm just going to keep fighting. And it's just a really cool little personality.
I agree. It's one of the things that I love about her as well. One of the things that makes her unique, I think, in that sense, because you don't see that a lot of times.
Oh, no, I would be miserable right now. So, yeah.
3-6 here left in the 9th frame. Rodriguez has found her way into the finals of an event this year as well. That happened in Louisville, Kentucky at Fern Valley Strike and Spare. She finished second, unfortunately, to Erin McCarthy. And I remember that match very well. Erin came out firing. It was going to take a lot to beat Erin, and Maria acknowledged that. And she left a very odd 8-10 in that match, which really was the difference, kind of sealed it in a sense. But, went through. Hold on. Went through.
So really quick in that situation, she picked up her spare ball and then she put it down. This game is over, and so it was a perfect opportunity for her because she didn't like that shot. So it was a perfect opportunity for her to get an extra practice shot on that lane and prepare for the next game. Sorry
Excellent point. No. That was a great point. It's something we had talked about earlier, but really hadn't seen it.
Right. That was a perfect.
Absolutely.
Yep. So back to this 8-10.
Yes.
Yep.
One side after Richard's done here. Gets the 10 out again, and so Maria at the Louisville Open had left the 8-10, and it was kind of the difference there. Then had the issue getting to St. Pete after their Central American games, but talked about, it's very important for them to be there, especially as elite members, to gain enough points.
To make sure they make it here.
Sure, they had the minimum points, which is what they had to deal with, but she had some great finishes down the stretch of the season to ensure a spot in the Tour Championship, and almost made the last two shows.
Yeah, she was right there.
So this one's going to 5 games, folks. Jordan, Richard, what do you know about, well, I know you know just about everything. So, but in regards to, when I see Jordan come off the approach, it's just like, yep, okay, you know, next one. Is that how she is in your experiences with her?
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's just like, okay, this is what I do, and I'm not surprised when I strike, and as she shouldn't be, and moving on.
Yeah, I mean, it just just kind of let the.
It's like the workman type mentality, like, okay, this is my job right now, and okay, I struck, okay, so what's next? It's just every once in a while you see her give a little yes, or definitely see a little bit more emotion out of her when she was bowling collegiately, but that when you're bowling with a team, that just sometimes does happen, where there's a little bit more, you wear your heart on your sleeve a little bit more. But I'm actually really, really excited. We leave here together with some of our other teammates on Sunday to go down to the Dominican Republic to bowl for Team USA, and so it'll be my first time bowling a Team USA event with Jordan, and so I'm excited for that. But yeah, she's just kind of a cool customer. She's confident. She knows her abilities and just gets it done.
Final shot here, game 4. Nice game for Jordan Richard. 11 out of 12 for 266. So Jordan has won with games of 256 and 266 now on this pair.
No big deal.
And lost with games of 214 on 186. Interestingly enough. Rodriguez. There's another ball change.
No reason not to play around right now.
This is it. We're going to the 5th and final game. Someone's going to the quarterfinals, and she's got to be ready, prepared. That was a great shot.
It was really good. Yep.
Just throwing some really good shots. I was very impressed with the way she ended her match against Rocio. The type of strikes, or the type of shots she was throwing. The match that certainly could have gone either way. One more ball here. Probably not that one. That look tells you all you need to know about what she thought of that ball hitting the 1-3. Again, just to update you, 1 and 2 currently in a delay. Unfortunately, lanes 1 and 2 I'm speaking of, Stefanie Johnson and Diana Zavjalova. No official word yet. I'm sure we will get it once our match on 3 and 4 concludes officially. And then once we know the word, we'll give it to you. I believe, just my own belief, there are a few options in play. And so, my man, Rob writing down scores for me. A few options in play, but we'll figure out what those are once we know the official word. So first things first, game 5. Winner moves on to the quarterfinals. Here we go. Opening 4-pin. Appreciate everyone tuning in. It's been it's been something else, I'll tell you that. Although someone saw some folks in regards to the water portion, to my knowledge, no one has said,
Uh-oh.
oh, wow. Okay, early open there.
Miscue there.
Yep. To my knowledge, no one has mentioned anything in regards to water on the lanes. It is only
on the approach.
Been on the approach. The weird thing is also actually it hasn't been like in an extreme amount.
I think that puddle we saw was the biggest puddle I have seen.
I actually still didn't see it, which
is... it was probably a good...
Okay.
But like the size of a hamburger. But outside of that, like yesterday when they first noticed it was just like 6 little drops. That was the most amount that I had seen. And it happened quick because they didn't see it. It happened quick.
All right, Rodriguez strikes in the first frame. So you can see a situation here. Rodriguez can get out to the early double. Jordan with some minor adversity here based on her start. Here's Maria. Ball in hand. 4-step approach.
She's moved quite a bit left, so she has gotten in there.
Well, that's the ultimate price there.
Cool.
367 910. It's makeable. And she won't lose count.
I think the 36910 is like the hardest spare. And then you add the little 7-pin in there, and it's almost like it's sticking its tongue out at you. It's just not nice. It is makeable.
Oh, I agree.
But it's not fun.
36910s are uncool. All right, she'll get all that she can get in regards to count there, so return the favor on the open. And a couple strikes here, Richard back in the lead. Wow, nearly 2,000 viewers.
Sweet. Hey, guys.
About that.
What's up?
I should say nearly 1,900, but
2,000 sounds better.
If you see 1,800 plus,
tag your friends.
You know,
Tell them to come watch.
It's shot there from Richard. Elon, that's a good question. Not sure if there is a stream for the upcoming PABCON event.
All right. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. If there is, you can follow my social media pages, Shannon Blahowski, Jordan Richard, Missy Parkin, Liz Colkin, Sydney Brummett. We will all be posting links if there is streaming for PABCON.
Well, Fidel just gave us a great fun fact about Maria.
Ooh, I like fun facts.
In regards to the 36910. Maybe that's why she's so good at it. She picked up one to win a national title.
That's a fun fact.
It's a good one.
That is a good one.
10-pin for Richard. I was asking, Jordan missed a 4-pin to start.
Yes.
Maria opened, she's in the split, the 3-6-7-9-10. Again, this match, 5th and final game. We've got some, no matter what happens here, the bracket is so cool because of the matchups, and it's getting better each round, as you would expect, obviously, at this event. But, I just realized I never hit refresh in my own bracket. Hold on.
Oh, no.
All right, 2 single-pin misses here for the young rookie of the year.
Definitely miscues, and it definitely could have been, we saw her miss the 4-pin to the left, the ball hooked, and so it could be just her over-adjusting and maybe overthrowing it at the 10-pin because she doesn't want to hook by it again, and unfortunately, misses a little bit and fires it right into the gutter. So it happens again. Like, it doesn't mean that she's any less of an incredible player. It just means she made a mistake.
Rodriguez threw this ball last game on the fill and got it wide right. see her just talking to herself. Wants to just say, let's just relax.
Yes.
1, 2, 10. Another makeable opportunity here. For those of you, and we've got some viewers, and I appreciate it, who I'd imagine, based on what I'm reading, may or may not watch bowling all the time.
Even better.
Some of the differences, appreciate you tuning in. Maria's split in the second in red is deemed a split. Now, as she gets to here, you could theoretically deem what she just left a split, but because the head pin is associated with it,
no, it's not a split.
it is not a split.
Correct.
And obviously makeable because it is
It
makeable.
is makeable. Anytime the head pin's there, it is technically makeable. Doesn't mean it's an easy
Correct.
makeable spare, but it is makeable. Even spares with a 2-pin in it are makeable, but just a little more challenging. Pins are further apart, makes it harder to make them.
Great shot there from Rodriguez.
Uh-oh, Jordan just said her thumb is gone. So we're going to have a little bit of a delay while they search for her thumb. And it continues.
It is just one of those. It's
Yep.
been one of those events. In a weird way, I said this earlier or yesterday. Been around some things, called some games in my lifetime, and so like for me, kind of the more weirder it gets, the better. Like I don't know why. It's very odd, but it's something that I can go back and kind of say, well, I was here when
I experienced
this
that.
happened.
Exactly right. This is one for the ages. You know, maybe this maybe this is to test like how mentally strong they are after a long, grueling season. I don't know. I'm just a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And who are we to question why and just kind of go with it? And
Well,
it's just bizarro. That's all.
while we have a moment, I know some of you had some questions for Shannon we really haven't gotten a chance to get to. So
Let's do it.
if you have those, feel free to drop them in the comment section now, and we'll get as many as we can in before the end of this match. And as long as there aren't any pressure-packed situations and moments, of course, because I won't be asking her questions during that time.
Nope. Let's fire away right now and get it done.
Go ahead and drop them in, and we'll get to it a little bit here. So now, if you're just joining us, we're delayed in both of our matches at this moment.
A rain delay on lanes 1 and 2, and a missing thumb that came out of Jordan Richards' ball on lanes 3 and 4.
Yeah, she lost an insert.
Oh, I think he found it.
Might have been found just right there. It's in the gutter.
That's lucky.
Hopefully it's usable.
Yeah.
And
that's lucky
how
because
about that?
if they sometimes fall down in now
Right.
here it's a
Could
little
be in
different because it's a build that's smaller, but at a home center, you know, where there's 40 lanes or whatever, and you lose a ball in the back of the machine, it's pretty much just gone.
Quick question for you, Shannon, in
Sure.
regards to your fitness schedule.
Yeah.
What's that like from Sean?
So I work out as much as possible. The biggest thing for me is endurance. I love to run. I'm a big runner. I think it's an incredible all-over body workout, and it helps with the endurance, obviously. But I was sidelined week 2 of tour with a really swollen knee and haven't been able to run. And so I've gotten to the, core workouts where it's squats and lunges and strike there for Jordan, and getting my cardio in other ways that aren't as strenuous on my knees. But I probably work out, I would say, on average 4 days a week on average, I would say. In the off season, I'll pick that up and work out a little bit more. But lots of lower body and core strength is the most important.
Well, it's unfortunate because folks really dropped some good questions.
Do they?
They did. I'm gonna try to get a couple in.
Okay.
All right, so Jordan struck in the fourth.
We're
Again.
dead tied right now because of the opened by both players, though.
Indeed. Yeah, 4-pin.
She liked that one. Those are the ones Jordan likes because she kind of pops out of it a little bit and kind of walks to the right. And I saw it all too much when Arkansas State, where she went to college, was bowling against us, and she would strike and she'd turn and whip her right hand in a fist and yell yes, and I'd be like, dang it. But she is impressive to watch, and it's been a pleasure watching her compete and watching her grow. And I got to bowl the women's championship with her right before the Queens, before she was a member, and it was just so much fun.
Makes the adjustment there on that 4-pin. Gives it the fist pump. Next question. Keys to building a tournament-ready arsenal from Tayshawn.
Depends on how many balls you're going to take. I would say tournament-ready arsenal would be don't practice with the bowling balls you compete with. Have your practice arsenal and have a tournament arsenal, because the bowling balls of today are so porous that the more you use them, they get oil soaked really, really quick. And so if you're using those balls in practice, you're just wasting them. And so keys to building it would be, I would pick a strong asymmetrical ball, a strong symmetrical ball, find a couple in the middle that you like. I like more symmetrical bowling balls over asymmetricals, where Stefanie, my best friend, likes kind of more the asymmetricals over the symmetricals. So her middle balls may gravitate more towards the asymmetrical bowling ball, which when I talk about that, I'm talking about the core of the ball, where I'm going to gravitate to maybe having more symmetrical balls. And then you definitely need to have a weaker ball in the bag. I could probably do like a little video when I get home from the Dominican, just kind of talking about how we choose to do that. But really, if you can work on your overall versatility as a player and really understand surface adjustments, you can turn that 6-ball arsenal into like a 32-ball arsenal. So it's just really understanding surface adjustments and being able to physically do different things with your hand.
Wow, what a shot there from Rodriguez.
That was a really good shot.
I think she has found the right ball combination in both lanes. She's going one on the right and one on the left.
She is.
At least in the 5th and 6th frame.
Yes, and now it's just a matter of just executing.
Here's Richard.
That was a really good shot. All I can do is laugh at this point when things go crazy. Just stuff falling all over the place.
I'm telling you. I was here when.
We need to start making notes.
All right, big spare for Jordan. I mean, you talk about being tested.
Yeah.
I mean, really, everything that could be thrown at you off the lanes, in a sense.
Yes.
Right? It's kind of being thrown at these players.
Right.
And, they're just going through it.
Like, I guess it's easy for me to sit here and kind of laugh and kind of joke about it because I'm not emotionally attached to what's happening right now. It's not me physically bowling and being frustrated that I just placked a 10 or, missed a spare or whatever the situation is. And for them to handle it the way they are truly is remarkable, win or lose for both of them. It's something that people should not overlook and something that they should be applauded for.
Big shot coming up here. Richard, 7th frame. Gets some break.
Little love on that 4-pin.
Max score 20, 50, 80, 16 for Jordan Richard.
What? What did you say?
20, 50, 80, 16.
Oh, you're just adding it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Hi, 98.
216 max score.
It totally threw me.
Bad.
Sorry. I'm usually bowling when you're doing your deal.
That's right. Well, I actually never really say that out loud, so I don't even know.
20,
that
50,
was
80.
only supposed to be in my head.
Red, 98.
Yeah. All right, Rodriguez looking for a 4-bagger.
Wow.
You heard her talk to it. You can hear it a little bit. 4 in a row for Maria. And
She's a little hungry for this one.
You know,
I mean, they all are, but it's different.
it is, and each player has their own story.
Yes.
And Maria's, to me, Maria's story. First of all, she's a major champion, and I don't think most people really realize that because it happened a few years back. Of course, when there was no tour, tour wasn't back yet,
right?
And so it's easy to kind of go under the radar that she did win the 2013 USBC Queens.
She did, and that is a really, really hard tournament to win. And I'm not saying that just because it is really, I've bowled that tournament for 15 years. And that tournament is really hard.
And since the relaunch of the tour, she has put herself in really many positions to be successful. She's been so consistent each year. We talked about, her weird unsuccessful track record at the Tour Championship. Now, in the second round, she's a player, when you say that players do, that player, she's one of those players that's due.
Yes.
For some good things to go her way, in a sense. But it's still not going to be easy. Jay Rich can put some pressure on her still.
She's not going to go away. She's going to continue to get up there and execute great shots. And if she makes little adjustments here, she could kick that 10 and that 4-pin and could put that pressure on her.
All right, Jordan Richards stepping up 8th frame. And a weak 10 there. And now as those hits start to become more prevalent later in the match, it's, the odds at this point, the probability score for Jordan to win continues to lower.
Right.
Maria again with 5 in a row in a match now, of course, in the 5th and final game, best of 5. Round number 2, winner moves on to the quarterfinals, which was scheduled to begin this evening. We've got a rain delay in our other round 2 match that was ongoing.
If you're just tuning in and you're hearing him say we have a rain delay in the other match, I know that sounds really silly, but we do have a leaky roof. It is dripping on the approach of lane 2. Diana and Stefanie were in the middle of their match. Diana's up 2-0 on Stefanie. Stefanie started the game 3 with a 9 spare, and Diana got up to bowl and noticed that there was a puddle of water on the approach of lane 2, and so we've had to take a little timeout while the rain moves through Richmond. And my guess, we have not been told, our guess would be that Stefanie and Diana will move over to lanes 3 and 4, get a little bit of time to maybe warm back up and finish their match over on 3 and 4. So it is unexpected. It is a little bit unfortunate due to elements out of our control. But, the show must go on, as they say.
And then that is just, what one of the possibilities that could happen. We have no idea.
Right. We don't know what they're going to do.
Actually happen. And then once we know, I'm sure we'll find out as soon as this match is over.
Yes.
We'll alert you, because then you'll need to know, obviously, where to watch. We're not going to leave you, by the way, on the stream as well. So we'll keep it running until we figure out when we can finish. All right, Rodriguez, 5 in a row. 9th frame. Maybe,
she likes it.
Maybe. All right, 6-10.
So really, she makes this, then she just needs to mark in the 10th frame if I'm adding this properly. Because Jordan can shoot 196. Yeah, so Maria makes this, she needs a mark in the 10th frame.
To shut out.
Maria will lock up this match and move on to the quarterfinals.
First things first. All right, spare made. It is so quick in our sport to get ahead of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, even sometimes the best do it. It's something that, from my experience, really talking to some of the best players, that you have to be always aware of. You got to make sure that hey, listen.
It's really easy to drift and start thinking ahead, and that's danger, because then you're not fully present for what's happening now, and you kind of go through the motions, and that's when mistakes are made.
It needs, at this point, good count.
Yeah, not even a mark.
That'll do it.
Yep.
Well, Maria Jose Rodriguez has defeated the 2018 PWBA Rookie of the Year, Jordan Richard, to move on to the quarterfinals, where she will face the winner of either Stefanie Johnson or Diana Zavjalova when that match resumes. And there's a good smile from Maria. So the unfortunate part, obviously, in our matches is that there is a loser, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think for Jordan Richard, certainly not a loser by any means. Her season, spectacular.
And her career is just beginning. You know, her and I actually had a conversation just the other night, believe it or not, about it's crazy to think she missed the first 3 tour stops of the season because she was still in college. You know, imagine on the run that she was on, imagine had she bowled all the events, she very well could have been Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year in her debut season. And it's just, you know, a testament to how incredibly tough she is at the age of 22. It's painful to say that. It makes my hip hurt to say 22. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with. She has all the pieces, and she's proven it. So she's going to be one that you guys are going to want to watch. You're going to want to follow on social media.
Absolutely.
Because she's great and she's a lot of fun. So
official score 212 to 185. I know Jordan will be talking to herself about this particular game. Had some miscues early in the match, and certainly we know you can't have that. So congrats again to Maria Jose Rodriguez. She is moving on in the quarterfinals as she defeats Richard 3 games to 2. All right, and so now we will turn our attentions to the match that was delayed between Stefanie Johnson and Diana Zavjalova. What we're going to do is take a small break, very small break, just to kind of get the lay of the land to figure out what's happening.
Let's do it.
So we properly know how to inform you.
Okay.
So we'll take a short break. We'll come back. There will be silence momentarily because my guy stole my crowd mic. So I'll go retrieve the crowd mic so you can have some natural sound. Be back in a moment, folks. Don't go anywhere here on Bowl TV. All right, folks. I'm not sure if you heard, Tennille, who's our director of operations, but she said about 10 minutes, and that was about 2 minutes ago. So 10 minutes to get the final word on how we will proceed with our delayed match. But while we have a second, talked about the question. So what I'm going to do is actually Shannon's idea, and it was a very good one, to go ahead and answer some of those questions that you dropped in. So we're going to go ahead and do that while we have a moment. And let's see. So, of course, I've got to do some scrolling because we said this about 10 minutes ago. All right, so if you just joined us, again, we'll go over it one more time, rehash it for you. Our matches were off and running. All was well. We had the leaky roof situation pop up on us again on lane 2. I delayed the Stefanie Johnson, Diana Zavjalova match. Maria Jose Rodriguez and Jordan Richard continued to bowl on 3 and 4. They were unaffected in that sense. Rodriguez ended up defeating Jordan Richard in 5 games, 3 games to 2. And the final reevaluations of how to proceed with 1 and 2. We'll know more about that in just a second. Okay. Okay, let's start from the top. We talked about fitness. We talked about, here's a good one. All right, from Robert. Shannon,
Yes.
Why did you start bowling?
I started bowling when I was 16 years old because I thought it would be something fun to do with my little brother. So I left softball practice one morning and drove over to watch him bowl league, and there were these really cute boys. I was 16.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
It's
Nicely
hilarious.
done. You like how I
Thank you,
did
thank you. There were these really cute boys, and then my little brother, I say little brother, he's like a year younger than me, and he's like 6'4", so he's really not my little brother, my younger brother. They had a spot open on their team, and my dad had said, hey, if you join the team and you bowl with him, you could get exactly 21 games in before the city tournament. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't even know what that means, but okay. And so I just started bowling. My brother was way better than me, and I hated it. And so, yeah, it's kind of twofold. Cute boys, and I wanted to beat my little brother.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Here's a good one from Bobby. He asks, what's your favorite restaurant in St. Louis at this point?
I'm not really sure because I don't really get down into St. Louis, but I love Mexican food. So you take me to a good Mexican restaurant, it doesn't matter what city it is in, and I will devour everything they put in front of me. So.
All right. Well, we've got a question, or had a question from Del Ballard.
Del.
I assume it's the real Del Ballard. I mean, I know we get a lot of folks in chat rooms.
This
with,
could be interesting.
He just said, hi.
Oh.
How are you?
I'm
How's your
good,
day
Del.
going? Okay. Next. Do-do-do. First tournament for the Lady Bearcats this year from Bluegrass.
We at McKendree are actually hosting an event. It's the Brunswick Hammer Open, and it is the end of October at St. Clair Bowl, which is our home center.
That's at the
That's
end
for
of
the girls.
When was it again?
End of October.
End of October.
Yep.
Okay.
The boys' first one, I think, is the Boilermaker.
Okay.
And that is not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, like the 28th and 9th of September or whatever those dates are.
From a beginner, what is the impact of lane breakdown, in your opinion?
The impact?
Yes.
I think, impact on...
So I think from a beginner, from a beginning bowler.
Like how much does it play a role in?
So I would think more along those lines. If I'm a beginner, kind of getting into the sport and understanding what lane breakdown is about, and perhaps how would that affect me, and or maybe what should I look for?
I think it is the most important thing to pay attention to. It's the most important thing to educate yourself on because it is an invisible playing field. And what I mean by that is you can't really see the oil. You know, you see people lay down and try to look to see the ball path, but you still can't see what exactly the oil is doing. And so it's an invisible playing field. So you really have to be aware of ball motion on top of lane play and the adjustments that need to be made. And so I'm a firm believer that education is power if you know how to use it. So find coaches that know the information. There's so much information on YouTube. Google it, watch the videos. I think it's the most important thing.
Favorite pair of lanes to practice on at St. Clair?
3 and 4. I'm always on 3 and 4.
Okay. Any reason why?
We have all of our technology there.
Oh,
We have
makes sense.
instant feedback loop that's on like a 20-second delay, so I can throw a shot on lane 3 and watch myself from behind, and then I can throw a shot on lane 4 and watch myself from the front. And then we just installed Specto. Now, granted, we have this technology on lanes 3 through 8, but I've just always bowled on 3 and 4. It's the furthest away from other people, and I'm kind of in my own little cave, so it's my favorite.
That's a good follow-up from me, just in regards to how have you and how do you look forward to utilizing some of the technical tools to help not only yourself, but I know you guys are kind of program first, so you're always thinking about the kids.
Yes.
So how do you use Specto and some other things,
Yeah.
drills and everything to help the kids?
So I'm all about drills, shot repeatability, simplifying your game, the less moving parts, the easier it is to repeat. You know, I'm really firm on all of that. I really believe that that is the key to success. You know, we just watch it with Jordan Richard. She doesn't have a lot of moving parts, but she's probably one of the most powerful players in our game on the women's side as of today, and is able to do it effectively. And it's because she has less moving parts and she's just repeats. So I'm really big into that. The technology is really good. We just got to make sure that with Specto, it measures it down to the 10th of a board. So if we want them to go 5 to 3 and they hit 5.5 and 3.7, that could make them feel like they're terrible. They're not. They're still hitting within an inch at their break point or at the arrows, and then at the break point 45 feet down. So we just have to manage the mental side of it with them and teach them. This is our first year with Specto, so it's going to be a learning curve for everybody. It's the same thing for me. I went through it the other day after we had some of our kids go through it. I went through it, and I looked at Brian. I'm like, man, I'm terrible. He's like, oh, why? Because you missed 2 boards right at your break point 45 feet down the lane. And I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, do you know how irrational you're being?
Right.
And so once he put it into perspective, I was like, okay, he's right. So it's just managing that. But I think that when you collect real data, bowling is so much about opinion. You could watch someone bowl and say, man, she throws it really good. And I could watch that same girl bowl and say, she's just okay. Well, who's right and who's wrong? Well, we are taking are we looking at the camera?
1 second, but
okay.
1 second.
Loosened up again, get ready to go. And our friend Mother Nature is not working on our parade anymore over on lane 2. So we're going to continue our match over on lanes 1 and 2. The ladies will receive 2 balls on the opposite lane of where they throw their next shot. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
For some reason, we run into a delay again. We're just going to hop back over to lanes 3 and 4 and finish out the match.
So get
All
5.
right, so thank you all for your patience. We'll get started in just a few moments.
I got it. Yep. So they're going to get 5 minutes of practice on 3 and 4. And then when they come back over to the pair where they're competing, they're going to get 2 shots on the opposite lane from where their next shot will be, and then they will continue the match. But what I was saying is bowling is so much a matter of an opinion. You could watch someone bowl and say, man, she throws it really good. And I can watch the same person bowl and say, oh, she just throws it okay. Well, who's right and who's wrong? So we at McKendree have really gotten into collecting tons and tons of data, because numbers and data don't lie at the end of the day. And so just really trying to teach our kids, why we collect it, but how we use it to make them better. One thing is that we track is launch angle People be like, well, why does that matter? Well, launch angle is really important because if from one shot to another, it's 8.8 degrees off, that could be the difference of them sliding 2 boards further left than they did the shot before, and in essence could be the difference between a 210 or a strike. And so it will show us some potential physical things that, you know, we as coaches can then go and address.
From a respective bowling ball question.
Okay.
And specifically in regards to the GB3 Pearl, while we have a moment, just kind of your thoughts. Is it something you enjoy?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's new. I absolutely love the entire GB line. There's just something about that core that matches up to my game. I don't think, you know, if anybody follows me on my social media page or has watched me on TV, I throw the GB2 a lot. The ball is just incredible. The first couple tournaments of the entire season, I threw the GB3, the original GB3. I would say 90% of the time in the first couple tournaments. The GB3 Pearl has that same core, but it's clean, and so it's that ball down once I get past my GB2. It's very similar to the GB2 Phenom Pearl, and so I just think it's a must-have in your bag.
When did you realize you were a good bowler and decided to pursue it as a profession? Good question.
That is a good question. So I don't know. I'm really hard on myself, and so there's still times I have my little moments of doubt where I'm like, is this fake? No, you know, don't be silly. But I don't know. I mean, for so long we didn't have a tour, and so that question is challenging because I would say it was maybe a couple years in on my Team USA run, winning world championships, and you know, being one of the ones that would make the team consistently and get that opportunity to compete against the best in the world and be successful on that stage, I think is really when I started realizing that I was good enough to continue to compete in that way. And then I had made several US Open TV shows before we even had a tour. And then 2015 was our first year having the tour back, and at that point I was very confident in my abilities to be successful out here.
You did make a lot of U.S. Women's Open shows.
I did.
When you go back and, like, when we do TV notes and stuff and start counting how many times you actually have been on the show, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You have, and it goes back to, I think, like
2007.
07?
Yep. 2007 was my first time making the show. It was the first time they brought the Women's U.S. Open back since, like, 2003. And they did a really unique thing where they took the top 16 and they put us in four-person brackets. And you have to win your bracket to come back 2 months later to bowl the live TV finals. And in my bracket, to win my bracket, I bowled my best friend Stefanie Johnson, 70 Nation at the time, and I bowled 299 against her on TV, which was crazy. But a highlight of my career, a very cool situation. And I went on to finish second in that U.S. Open to Liz Johnson.
Does watching make you nervous?
Yes. It is way harder for me to watch than it is to do it myself. Whether I'm watching my best friends, my teammates, my husband, anybody that I care about, it makes me, my kids at McKendree, I am dying inside. Everyone's always asking, what are you writing on that clipboard? And there is stuff that I'm writing that's important information for us. But a lot of times the girls will say, here, do you want me to write that? And I'm like, no. Like, I got it, because it's my nervous energy. I need to be doing something because I'm so nervous.
Have you run a marathon?
I have not. I have run 5 half marathons. I have loved it. It's my happy place. It's where I can just go and it's just me and the road, and there is something called a runner's wall. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. For me, it's about the 2.5 mile mark. I am miserable every single step until I reach 2.5 miles, and then I feel like I can run forever. But the training, it does take training. I'm competitive, so every time I run a half marathon, I want to beat my previous time. And so there's training that goes along with that. And so I'll train for 12 or 13 weeks to run that half marathon. And so then my brain starts thinking it would be really cool bucket list to maybe run a full marathon. But then I start thinking that it's like double the training, and no way. I'm good.
Let's see. Let's keep scrolling here. By the way, this is Shannon O'Keefe,
Hi.
2018 PWBA Player of the Year. My name is Emil Williams Jr. I'm just kind of here chilling, doing my thing. All right. When did you, let's see. We answered that question. While I get a question, Shannon, if you could update our viewers on what the official announcement was. Again, you handled that well earlier.
All right.
And, let's go through that one
So
more
if you're
time.
just tuning in now, you're probably wondering why the camera's on Emil and I. You hear bowling in the background. You probably would expect for this.
No, you don't want to see it.
You'd probably expect for this round of matches to be over. However, yesterday we dealt with it, and today we dealt with it. The last round of rain has rolled through Richmond, and we had a leaky roof again on lane 2 on the approach. During the middle of Stefanie and Diana's match, they had just finished game 2. Stefanie had just finished frame 1 of game 3, and they noticed a puddle of water. So we waited for the Maria Jordan Richard match to finish. And so they could let these girls warm up. So they're getting 5 minutes of practice on lanes 3 and 4. Then they're going to come back over to lanes 1 and 2. And they will get 2 shots on their non-starting lane. And then we will resume the match on lanes 1 and 2. If for some reason throughout the rest of this match we see the league roofing again, they will finish the match on lane 3 and 4 so we can somewhat stay on schedule as much as possible.
And again, very fortunate, although the circumstances have been unfortunate overall because of the weather. Fortunately, because of where the leak is,
Yes.
it has not affected the lanes.
Right.
And so because it's an approach situation and it's very defined in the small area that it is, that's a break obviously for us. And so a big thanks to the staff here at PWBA staff, to Neil Milligan, Greg Moore, Jason Thomas, again, everyone here at Richmond Raceway as well on the track. And then obviously being able to communicate that with the players.
Right.
And very important in getting their input on what they would like to do, I'm sure.
And the really, really great thing that they've been doing is they haven't been making rash decisions. Like, they're really taking their time, making sure that they're doing what's best, not only for the integrity of the event, but what's best for the players as well. And so I commend them for that. I know that, you know, there's probably a little bit of added stress on them that they weren't expecting coming into this week to make sure that they're running a seamless event. But, you know, sometimes things happen out of our control, and you just do the best you can and you move on.
Along those lines, because you're a player, and you mentioned it earlier during our earlier session, you are one of the players who did experience bowling outside in Reno with the dust and everything. So, I mean, obviously no one planned for that situation to happen. But how did you, as a player, you know, kind of, you know, maintain your focus and try to do what you could?
It was a really unique situation. I qualified 3rd for that event, and so Linda and Stefanie were on that show along with Missy and Kelly. But Stefanie and Linda bowled that opening match, and I had mentioned earlier, if you guys missed it, everyone's like, "Why would you do that? Why would you put lanes outside?" Well, we bowled practice session earlier in the day out there, and the pattern actually played tighter than it did inside the stadium. We were putting surface on our bowling balls, trying to make them hug, not knowing that there would be the dust storm of 2013 on the streets of Reno. But, you know, things just happen. You know, the sun went down. There was a huge festival. I mean, the city of Reno did an awesome job. They shut it down. They invited all these vendors out. Thousands of people were walking around, and when you get that many people walking around in the desert with a light wind, it just kicked up the dust, and it is what it is. But the lane still played normal through the practice before the tournament actually started. And then halfway through the first match with Linda and Stefanie, I was sitting on the sideline with my ball rep at the time, Jason Guest, and it looked like somebody kicked Linda's and Stefanie's ball halfway down the lane, and we were like, "Whoa, did you just see that?" And I looked at my ball rep after a few more frames, and I'm like, "I don't think I'm going to have a choice here. We're going to have to throw plastic because this is what we're going to have to do."
Right.
And so I bowled Stefanie, and I beat her. And then, you know, people don't see me do it often, but I do practice all the time without my wrist guard on. And so I took it off because when I take it off, it makes my rev rate a little bit lower, so I'm able to get through it a little bit cleaner. And so that's what I did. I took it off in my match against Missy, and Missy ended up beating me. But I mean, it was an adventure. Shooting at spares was scary because you didn't know what your ball was going to do. But it was something that I'm so incredibly grateful that I got to experience, and it was just another learning lesson that you just have to expect the unexpected. Yeah, things did not pan out the way that we all envisioned them to, but instead of complaining about it and playing the woe's me thing, we just said, okay, well, this is what our cards have been dealt to us, and how are we going to make the best of it? And that's what really all of us on that TV show did. I think all of us experienced people being more frustrated by it who watched the event than the 5 of us who actually participated in it. So it was definitely a unique situation.
It's a very good answer. And again, your perspective on something that these players are experiencing. And,
yeah.
In a way, you haven't experienced it because you mentioned you haven't bowled where it has affected you to this point as of yet. So,
not yet.
But you can, in a way, what could be going through their minds.
Sure.
In that sense, because of your previous experiences.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy what they're going through, but and Stefanie is down 0-2 to Diana. So when you have about an hour break, which is about how long they've had, you just don't know how each person individually is going to handle it. So it's really, who can focus on controlling what they can control and just executing and making the best shots possible. And if the pins fall their way, this may be the break that Stefanie needed because things weren't going the right way.
Right.
And maybe this is what she needed. You just never know.
Get a few more shots in.
Now, you see both of them. I had mentioned that they each get 2 shots on their non-starting lane, and you're seeing both of them bowl on lane 1, and you could be asking, what the heck is that all about? Well, as you can see on the scoreboard when this practice thing comes off, Stefanie already started game 3. She bowled on lane 1. So when she starts back in this match, it's going to be on lane 2. And when Diana starts this match, it will be on lane 2. And that's why both of them have taken shots on lane 1.
All right, folks, we are back in business. Again, great job by the staff here and for the players, to take everything in stride. They've still got an opportunity to not only advance, but a championship still on the line. So as we get back down to business, I don't have time to play around. What is this? What is this? The invasion. Okay. So Diana will step up. Back like we never left. She holds a 2-0 lead. And literally back like she never left, because that's exactly what she was doing prior to the delay. So Zavjalova, and for her, Shan, she had gone 244, 254. And so to have a break like that, and obviously they were able to warm up. You didn't see the practice that was happening on 3 and 4. So as Shannon mentioned, they did warm up for, I think it was at least 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then came over to throw the appropriate shots on the opposing lane. And 10 pins. So I think one of the keys here, of course, we've talked about the mental approach, but they get to stay on this pair of lanes that they had an understanding. Obviously, they're already bowling on them. You can see Zavjalova immediately kind of go back to being comfortable because she knows where she was and it was working.
Right. So the unique situation with it is that they bowled their 10 minutes of practice. They bowled 2 full games, and then the lanes sat there for an hour. And lanes do change, just with the elements over time. And so they may need to, even though they got 2 practice shots, you may see them make some minor adjustments here. Diana's 10-pin there was a little bit of a half placky 10, so she may move into it a little bit. When I say move into it, is she may move 2 and 1 left to find a little bit more head oil, so her ball retains a little bit more energy down lane.
All right, so if you're Steph, you kind of mentioned earlier, maybe a new lease on this match, if you will.
It's almost like she got the reset button.
We'll see what her first shot looks like. She was kind of in between bowling balls and trying some things last time we saw her. 2-pin to start here for Steph. Officially, this is game 3 of this match. So keep that in mind. Zavjalova with the 2-0 lead. And if you are just joining us, Maria Jose Rodriguez defeated Jordan Richard in 5 games, 3 games to 2. They finished their match early. We had some rain, the roof leaked in the area that it's been leaking, or happened yesterday, I should say. On the approach on lane 2, the match was delayed and allowed the match on 3 and 4 to complete. While the delay was happening, so did the leak. And everyone, cleaned it up and everything that's necessary to do so. The lanes were re-oiled over 3 and 4 to allow these players who were in the delay to practice. We got 5 minutes of warm-up and then 2 additional shots on the opposite of their starting lane over on 1 and 2. And now we are back at it. So it's been unconventional this week, but sometimes that's the case. You play the hand that you're dealt.
That's right. Just kind of roll with the punches.
That's Johnson. Good shot. There's that left-hand fist pump. Thanks for all of the questions that many of you did provide. I know we missed some, and if we can, we'll try to get maybe a couple more in, depending on what happens in this match. But thank you for your viewership and your engagement in our broadcast. So here is Zavjalova, 2-time major champion, the USBC Queens twice. Most recently in 2017, and still continuing to throw good shots. So very early on, obviously, 1-pin advantage here in this game for Zavjalova, who loves this type of format. She loves the match play, the one-on-one, the me versus you. And she always talks about that. She also loves TV. And so one more win and she'll be closer to that goal too.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the most vocal ones out here about how much she loves match play. But I'm going to tell you, I think every single one of us love it. We just may not be as vocal about it. It is fun when we get to do it, because we don't get to do it much. We do it at the U.S. Open, we did it at the Players Championship, and we did it at the Queens. And outside of that, we don't get to do it, and so unless we're on TV. So it's fun. That head-to-head it's awesome.
PWBA Tour Championship live from the Old Dominion building, Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. We've got NASCAR coming up. Some of the trailers have been or are here now, getting ready. Cars are coming up, and I know tomorrow, I think, and certainly Thursday, that lot outside will be packed.
Yes.
And full of 18-wheelers with trailers, and I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to an official NASCAR event.
Oh, you weren't here last year?
I was not here last year, so looking to for my introduction to NASCAR. I've talked to several players, including
Yeah.
yourself, who are now fans.
Yes, I had never really watched one before. You know, we'd flip on the Daytona 500 if it was on, but not for long. And you know, here winning my first major here last year definitely has a little bit special place in my heart. But we got to experience NASCAR in a way that some people don't normally get to. We had hot passes, which meant we got to go down in the garage area. We got to kind of be up and close, personal, being up next to the wall, watching the pit crew do their pit stops and stuff. I mean, it's just incredible, and it just opened my eyes to a world that before I was just like, oh, whatever, it's just NASCAR. And I really have this appreciation for it, and so I went home and I've watched just about every race ever since. I got to bowl with some of the NASCAR drivers last year, and so you know, I definitely have my favorite driver, and I'd be watching a race and wouldn't know what they were talking about, so I'd sit on my couch and just Google it and read about it. So now I know all sorts of stuff about it, and I just really loved it. I'm really looking forward to being able to have that experience again, to watch the Xfinity race on Friday night and then the Monster Energy Cup Series race on Saturday. It's going to be awesome.
Spare there from Johnson in frame number 4. 1 strike for Steph. Surrounded by 3 9 spares. Get all eyes now on 1 and 2. Fifth frame for Stefanie.
It's a really good shot.
How did you know?
Well, I have known Stephanie for a really long time.
Sure.
We've been teammates on Team USA for 14 straight years, and the shots that, in my opinion, are the best is when she doesn't fall out of her shot. She kind of sits in that power step. What I mean by that is it's the last step going into her slide is what's considered a power step, and she just kind of sits on that step a little bit longer, which gets her elbow a little bit tighter and through it, and those are the ones that tend to be the best ones. It doesn't mean she doesn't throw great shots not doing that, but yeah, those are her aces.
Zavjalova now 5th frame, and he gets the 10 outs. So it's been striker 10 pin so far here for Diana Z from Latvia. 1 pin advantage, 2 game advantage in the match against single elimination. This is a very arena type setting with
It's loud.
high ceilings, very
Yeah.
loud, of course.
Echoes.
The acoustics do not mess around. Be a good place for a concert.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't need the speakers to be that loud in
No.
a sense. It'd be a good place for a live band as well. Didn't like it.
No, it was left off her hand. Almost got away with it.
Like 4 pin. 4 DZ.
It's a good break because that could have been really bad.
If you haven't already, be sure to check out the bracket just so you are aware and know what's happening. It's available in the event description. Good spare for Diana. Diana last year made it to the quarterfinals. Before falling. And the lane condition 40 feet. Just under 24 milliliters of volume. And I forgot to add that a little bit earlier, so add that one in. And be sure to click refresh.
Another good one.
100%.
There's a no doubter on that one.
Prior to our delay here this afternoon, matches were scheduled to begin, or excuse me, I should say the quarterfinal matches were scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. tonight. With our delay, not sure, of course, when that will be at this moment in time.
I guess some of it depends on how, how long this match takes.
I'm sure the plan already in place for when those will start. Obviously, still have to re-oil, perhaps. Wow. 3 great shots from Steph. Perhaps to reassess everything.
Yep.
Make sure things are good within the building before finalizing that. So, as we have been, we'll keep you updated via social media, or if you're still on and we know the answer to the question, we'll tell you prior to leaving the air. Stefanie Johnson, 3 in a row, looking to stave off elimination here. Have to win 3 straight games. Here's Zavjalova with the advantage. She's been able to get the 10 out on this right lane, but not the case on the left lane, although she left a 4-pit in the 6th.
Yeah, last shot wasn't great. She hasn't made a lot of bad shots, so I don't expect to see that again. But I do expect to see her to potentially make a little bit of a move over here. I would suspect, I had mentioned that it looked like she needed a little bit left over there, kind of placking 10. But sometimes as bowlers, we would think a plaque 10 means that maybe we need to move right. So maybe she moved a little bit right, and then it just wasn't right to her eye, and which caused her to get a little bit left up the lane. You just never know. So I would imagine her moving a little left here.
Looking for a double. That's got to hurry.
Ooh. It's definitely starting to get a little bit lazier down lane. Lane 1 is the one that we saw as matches went on and would get tighter and tighter to the right down lane. And she's starting to see that now. Stefanie is not getting her ball nearly as far right at the break point on lane 1 as Diana is. I would not be surprised if she maybe tightens up her angles a little bit on lane 1. But maybe just from a little bit further left.
So, Diana with the spare on the old Dutch 200 pace. Linda, that's a good question. I actually did receive food. I just haven't eaten it yet.
Oh.
It's actually over there on the table. But I'll get to it as soon as this is over. And the way Steph J has come out here after this delay, we could be in it for the long haul.
Did your heart just totally drop? Because that scared the absolute
a little bit, to be honest.
Goodness out of me.
Wow. Managed to remain cool and calm.
That is scary.
Didn't foul.
No. And struck.
And
for a 4-bagger. Yeah.
But, in that instance, anytime you see something like that, and for those of you who do bowl and have experienced what we just saw, for example, those of you who haven't bowled or aren't bowlers, or don't bowl as often as some others, when you sometimes get to the foul line wrong, whether you stick or slide, there's always that sudden gasp in certain situations.
Yeah.
And then, you don't want to think about what could happen.
And it's hard to get that out of your head, So not only this shot, the shot right after, but the next shot on lane 2 is going to be really important to try to, for her to get it out of her head. And she did a great job right there, because that's really hard to do when you're like, oh my gosh, I almost fell. Is there something on my shoe? Is it going to happen again? And your brain just kind of goes. You see Diana now checking it because you just see your opponent almost eat it, and that's the lane where the water was dripping earlier. So you do start to question that. scary. So
It's easy to certainly get that in your head without question. I'm so impressed with Steph's mental toughness right there. She aced that shot
she
on
really
lane
did.
1 and said, you know what, lane 2? Here's what I think about what just happened.
Take that, lane 2. Stephanie's grabbing the shoe brush out of her backpack, and I would assume that she would probably take another little. So, there's a shot right there where Diana's footwork looked okay, but she most certainly looked down. So, and the result definitely shows maybe a little bit of a hesitant type shot. And and again, mental toughness. It's really, really hard to overcome that when you see that not only with your opponent, but, even yourself. So when Stefanie had her foot up and she was wiping her shoe, I didn't see any little water spots on it. So it could just be one of those freak situations.
Zavjalova, push.
So even though it looks like she's throwing the same bowling ball, she actually changed balls. So it's the same bowling ball. It just must have some sort of different layout for her. Again, this match or this game is pretty much over. And so it's a perfect opportunity for her to take a look on the lane that she was leaving all those corner pins on. Covers her spare nicely, and I would assume she's probably going to do the same thing.
Ultimately, to the this game, it's going to be a clean 190 something. But let's see, I think 10 pin. There was a 4 pin in the 6th.
Yes.
Another 10 pin in the 8th.
Yes.
7 pin there, but the match over at that point. Really good shot. It was the left lane where she was, missing the carry.
Yeah.
In that sense.
There's got to be water. There's water on the approach. You can see it. More water. Stephanie said that she sees like 5 little drops, so it's very possible that they were there and she may have stepped in one. Even just the tiniest amount of water on a sole could make somebody fall. So it was probably there, and she stepped in it slightly, and that's why we probably almost saw her go down, because then on the left lane she was completely fine. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here.
I'm sure we'll find out here momentarily. Doug Dukes, who I didn't want any camera time, but he's getting some. Big thanks to Doug from Kegel handling the lane maintenance this
he's
week.
Been out here quickly anytime he sees anything going on. Has been great.
It's going to be 2 games to 1, but there is a 10th frame to complete. And so, having said that, we'll give you the old hello again. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
How's everything going? Appreciate you tuning in. Well, we've got a situation. There's a couple
Me too.
delays. It is it's something. It's I think you just continue to evaluate as it's happening, and then I think as it continues on, and I'm sure I know Tennille's talking with the players and everything right now. And we mentioned earlier how the decision making had been rash.
Yep.
Getting the players' input, which is happening
Yes.
as we speak at the moment.
Looks like she's going to try to finish the 10th frame here while they, yep, she's going to try to finish the 10th frame here. We know there's no water on the approach at this very moment because Doug just cleaned it up, but and I would say that's a pretty good shot on that lane after all of that talk about water and sticking her shot before. And
All right, good spare for Steph. That's a good question, Russell. While we gonna figure out what's going to take place here, who do we think is looking like the strongest contender for the title? Well, one of them is sitting here in the booth, without question.
well, thanks, Emil.
That is Shannon O'Keefe. She's the #1 seed. Danielle McEwen is the #2 seed. So I would certainly say without question those two players would be strong contenders based on their abilities and their seasons. And for players that we've seen so far, still yet to be determined. Obviously, with what we watch here with Steph and Diana, for example. But I do think Maria Jose Rodriguez.
Yes.
It's two really kind of close, very gutsy matches she's been through today. So I think she would certainly be one. Kelly Kulick.
I was just going to say, if I had to guess one, I would have said Kelly Kulick. She has showed composure. She has shown the kind of the grits and the guts of the Kelly that we've saw, several years ago. And she's just kind of dominated both of her matches. So she would kind of be my pick. Not to win.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But to make TV. Well, it looks like they're going to continue here. I think, Doug is standing right here with Greg Moore and Tennille Milligan, and they are keeping a close eye on the shadows, or let's say the reflection of the approach on lane 2 to make sure that if there is anything that drops on the approach that they are ahead of it. Diana is leading 2-1 as Stefanie just won 238 to 196 in game 3. And Diana throws a great shot and leaves a 9-pin. So moving on to game 4 here.
Big win for Steph, obviously. Stave off elimination. All right, a couple shots there, I think, to get the the bearings underneath, if you will. So 10 pin for Stefanie Johnson. Really remarkable, obviously, what what we are experiencing here, but kind of continue to talk about the way the players are handling and conducting themselves here. So we do have, again, a couple quarterfinalists already in the books. I'll tell you those in just a second. And a 10 pin here for Stefanie Johnson. Again, in the quarterfinals, Kelly Kulik and Liz Culkin. That will be match number 11 on your bracket. Maria Jose Rodriguez has already won. She defeated Jordan Richard earlier. And of course, she is awaiting the winner of this match, Stefanie Johnson and Diana Zavjalova. All right, 2 10 pins for Steph, 2 games to 1. Tour started this season, that is, way back late April in Las Vegas. Seems like a long time ago. Not that long ago, but 14 total stops, including the Tour Championship. Zavjalova, good shot. And a quick hike down, if you will, on the approach.
It's no longer raining here in Richmond. However, whatever's leaking, it's obviously there's a build-up of something somewhere. So.
All right, big double for Zavjalova. Obviously, this will be a match that I'm sure neither will forget after this is all said and done. But I mean, it's weird, some of the things that athletes do go through, and even people, us in general. But as a major on the line,
Yeah. Testing them on all levels here.
It's a great shot.
It was a really good shot.
Tour started again. Las Vegas Open. Started on the West Coast, then on to Northern California, where you won the Sonoma County Open.
Yes.
Great, championship match, which someone brought up either earlier today. I think it was earlier today. It was Brian McLean. Well, Aaron Smith had talked about if we could have, if there was a picture that would kind of, or lasting image, if you will, of the season up until the Tour Championship, what would it be? I said, wow, that's a tough question. And someone mentioned, well, how about the 267, 265, or was it 68-66?
68-66. It was an incredible match. You know, we both went Brooklyn in that match to extend our strings, me and Verity, if you guys aren't aware. It was a unique situation for my husband, Brian, who's a ball rep for EBI, because he said to me, this is the first time that I'm asking somebody to throw a ball who potentially is going to beat my wife. And so there was that element to it that I didn't even think of, you know, the things that these ball reps go through. It is, you know, nice, I guess. I have a little bit more, not more, got to be careful how I word it. I do have some appreciation, or just maybe a little more awareness of what these guys go through week in and week out, because my husband is one that has to experience it, and I cannot imagine giving them a player my input when their title or their livelihood is on the line. You know, with my college players, it's different. It's like, okay, we're going to win this match or we're going to lose it. But when you're talking about somebody's livelihood, it is different. And so it was a unique situation for him as a ball rep, but it was a really cool match. We were just firing back and forth at each other, and it was pretty awesome.
Zavjalova struck on lane 2. It's a great shot. This left lane, that's got to push. It will. And that is 10 back. And this is potentially, I don't know, depending on how it turns out, it's already going to be one of those matches for me that's going to rank up there on my list of
this one?
things I've seen. Because we've talked about the distraction thing earlier, but I mean, it's pretty clear,
yes.
right?
Yep. No, it is.
But the shots that they're throwing.
I know. They're just acing them off their hand with this probably outside thought that, hey, at any moment I could stick on lane 2 and go flying halfway down the lane.
All right, so Johnson back up again. Ten pin will look to be a solid shot. I don't want to get lost in the shuffle here, but Diana Zavjalova leading this match 2-1. Stefanie Johnson 1-3. This match started just a few hours ago at this point. Went through one rain delay.
Maybe the longest best 3 out of 5 match.
I don't think we kept time in our records, but maybe we will from this point on. All right, good spare. High game of this match, Zavjalova 254. Low game, Steph Johnson 187. That was game 1. Steph went 187, 206, 238 to get a win in game 3. Zavjalova went 244, 254, 193. Sonoma, then the tour went to Fountain Valley, so from Northern California to Southern California in May, and ended in Reno, Northern Nevada, USBC Queens. Really the first, I can't say or tell if that was a bad shot. Big forward there for Steph. Oh, nearly made it.
Well, that's fun. Well, not fun because she didn't make it, but.
She takes 3, open frame in the 6th. 113. Zavjalova has gone spare 4 back. Again, Steph shot 238 to get on the board in this match. It's literally one game at a time for her at this point. Not for DZ. She's trying to take care of it this game. Good shot for pin. For Diana. First half, the first leg of the tour. Cali, Nevada, Vegas, or Vegas, Cali, Nevada. And then we went east.
We did.
On the first event after the Queens, which you won, was East Hartford. And we were there. First time in Connecticut in a very long time, for the amount of years. But
Yeah.
it's been a
It was
while.
great. It was great to be back up there. I think the last time we were there was the U.S. Open in like 2002 or something like that. 2001 or the U.S. Open. 99. It was something late 90s, early 2000s. There's probably people listening that weren't even born yet. But anyways,
Yeah.
we were there. And so it was great to be back. They were a great host, a great center. The crowd was awesome. Honestly, the crowds in every location we've been have been incredible. It's really great to see all our fans out there, not only watching like you guys are on Bowl TV and supporting the women. Trust us, we pay attention, we notice, and we are grateful for it. But also those that that show up, that walk into the building, that bowl the pro-ams and engage, with us. We're very grateful and blessed that we get to do what we get to do and love. It was a really long time not being able to have it, and so I don't think a day goes by that we're all not truly grateful for it. But we couldn't do it without the fan base and the people that support it. So truly grateful for all of you.
Well said. I think Connecticut U.S. Open 99.
Is that what it was,
Good
99?
info, I believe, in the chat. A spare there for DZ. So then from Connecticut to Louisville, Kentucky, then to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, the Greater Harrisburg Open.
To the U.S. Open, right?
Then to the U.S. Open.
In
This one
Orlando.
was open, yep, in Orlando. And then there was a break. We essentially had July off from tour competition.
Yes. But we were busy with, so there's 12 of us on Team USA that bowl on tour. And we went straight from the U.S. Open, straight to Dallas, Texas, or Arlington, Texas, to bowl at camp for a week. And then I was home for 3 days, I think. And then I headed out back down to Dallas for junior gold for recruiting for my other hat that I wear. And then I feel like there was something else in there, and before we knew it, we were back down in Houston for the Lucy, or Striking Against Breast Cancer mixed doubles. So it was a break from tour, but there was still so many other things going on.
Another great shot from Stefanie Johnson. From just the lane play, Shannon.
Yeah.
Are we still seeing, do you think, kind of the same, obviously the lane sat for a little while
Yes.
and everything, but they still look similar
They
to
do.
what they started. Okay.
Yeah, they do. Both bowlers have chased it left, just kind of normal moves, I would assume at this point. Stefanie's sliding about 24-25 with the middle of her left foot. When she started this match, she was around 19-20 with the middle of her foot. So she has gravitated further left. Diana's sliding about 27-28 with the middle of her foot. Both players have lane 1. Looks to be just a little bit more, which has been pretty consistent in all the matches that have been bowled on lanes 1 and 2 thus far.
Shannon O'Keefe has been in the booth with me for a few hours now. She started
Yeah, what are you going to do?
with us here for match 9. Appreciate you hanging around.
No problem.
Shannon. It's like Johnson takes care of business on the spare. And so a few frames left here for Steph J. And she's going to need a lot of help at this point.
Yeah, she's going to need some help.
Number 3 seed, Stefanie Johnson. And Steph has made the finals of every major of the season to this point, of course, including her win at the Players' Championship. And that win got her to the number 3 seed. It is. Zavjalova looking for a dagger. Good shot.
This is how you know Diana is matching up well, whether it's ball speed, rotation, rev rate, all of it, and the angles that she's choosing to play. Her carry percentage when she hits the pocket has been pretty high in comparison to some of the other athletes that we've seen competing.
It's interesting. I mean, I think her record, I talked about, she's averaged 222.
Wow.
And that's going to go up.
It is going to go up, yeah.
For 16 games coming into today, or excuse me, this week's Tour Championship. And that'll do it. Barring some unforeseen things, Diana Z is going to move on to the quarterfinals. But we obviously got to see it through. But for Steph, it will be obviously a bittersweet type moment.
Yeah.
No question about that. But I thought I was more. I was really impressed last year with her in regards to obviously giving birth.
Yeah.
Coming back, first event.
Winning.
In July, making the finals. At the time, obviously, we taped some TV shows. But, to win the Orlando Open last year, make the Tour Championship, essentially, and then to watch what she's done this year, kind of get back to herself in regards to kind of the full season, full competition. And really, today, in the midst of all that is taking place, I'm not sure I've seen two people throw better shots.
No, their execution this match has been incredible, and that's really all that we can strive to do is just execute. For me personally, not just turn it on me, but that's my key word. If I hear one of my ball reps say execute, it just kind of turns my brain into that laser focus, and that's my key. And you're seeing that right now out of two of the best in the world. There's that weird 7-pin hit again. That's a really good shot.
4 or 5 of those go for certain players. And we've seen matches from.
Oh, they could be completely different.
It really could.
Yep.
Strike. And Steph will fill it up here with 193. Can't really fathom the emotions that both of these players have gone through. Even those players who experienced a little bit of this last night.
Yeah.
Again, the difference being that it hadn't affected someone or two players mid-match.
Right.
Like it did today.
Yeah, to see both of their mental toughness is just, for people watching, if you do not think that takes some incredible mental toughness to get through what they just experienced, well, there's water in play where if you're a bowler, you know that liquid on the approach, on your shoe could be a serious injury.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to just kind of roll with the punches, literally, that Mother Nature's thrown at them and just overcome it and mentally execute and throw the shots that they did these last two games has been quite impressive, and you are seeing why they are two of the best in the world.
Pocket 7-10. The only thing that would make it better is if Diana would make this. But I can't blame her for just getting this thing done.
Yeah.
Officially 244 to 193. Zavjalova defeats Stefanie Johnson. She is going to move on to the quarterfinals, and she will face Maria Jose Rodriguez. Tania Milligan may give us a time and when that will be. All right, approximately 30 minutes from now is when we will go with our quarterfinal matchups. Shan, appreciate you.
You're welcome.
You hanging
and
out.
You guys, you're not going to want to miss these next two matches because you will see who is going to be joining Danielle and myself on TV tomorrow night for the chance at another title, another major. So don't miss it. Pick your favorite. Share it on social media.
That's right. Definitely do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely share it on social media. I'm going to go and make the change in that event, so it'll be about 30 minutes from now. So congrats to Diana Z and Maria Jose Rodriguez. Also, congrats to Stefanie Johnson and Jordan Richard on great seasons.
Yes.
For Shannon O'Keefe and everyone involved today, my name is Emil Williams Jr. I'll see you in about 30. You're watching the 2018 PWBA Tour Championship here on Bull TV.
Bye, guys.